Panda, before you do that, Panda,
What?
I now have every single area, every type of thing.
What do you mean every type of thing?
I
In
have,
GTA.
yeah, on GTA.
Oh, all the different motorcycle club businesses?
Yeah,
Or...
I have agency, hangar, cargo.
How
Well,
did you
like,
get through that much money?
well, I grinded out all of it except for 4,000, 2,000,000, 4,500.
How does Glitcher have... I'm still confused.
Like I said,
But what did you do to grind out
Yes, a
that much?
shark card.
I I got one shark card, which was only 450,000. I said that already.
Okay.
You got a shark card?
Well,
No, but what did you do to earn the money in the game?
I just kept redoing the same missions
No,
over
no, no,
and
no.
over again.
what's happened is there's there's a special offer that Rockstar are doing. You get a bunch of money every time for getting a shark card.
No.
Alright, we'll figure this
Anyway,
out after the lobby.
anyway.
Can I just can people just believe I can do something on my own?
No, I'm trying to learn so I can do it too, because you grinded out a ton of money. I want to learn so I can do it.
I stay up all night doing the same missions
Oh,
over
okay.
and over again.
When you say missions, you mean like Vincent and stuff like that, right?
Huh?
You mean like Vincent or Yusuf or one of them, right? Not like
Yeah.
the agency missions? Okay. Alright, sorry about that.
Not agency yet.
Alright.
I got the first thing I got was the
Yeah.
which then helped.
I am trying to move on because I know Med's not into GTA and this is an official lobby, right?
Hey, I'm good. I'm doing some. I always play things while talking and stuff, so I'm playing my Minecraft in the background, so we're good.
Alright. That's good to know at least. I'm happy yeah. But Med, you may actually recognize this story.
Oh god.
I found one of Smosh's.
You found like one of Smosh's that they've done?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, so we're gonna get our opinions on this story now.
I'm gay and my wife doesn't know. My wife and I have been together 9 years, married for 7, but I know that I'm gay. I've never been attracted to another woman other than her, but I've been attracted to lots of men. I've never been in a sexual relationship with a man, but if I wasn't with my wife, I know I would be. My preference when I'm by myself, in quotation marks, have only ever been over men, lol. But it's strange. My wife is my soulmate, in the most absolute sense. It doesn't matter that she's a woman. I'm so in love with her mind and her heart and her as a human being that she could literally be in any body and I would love and worship her. Even being with her sexually is incredible because it's her. Sorry. I know this makes no sense, and that's why I can't tell her. She would think she isn't enough because she isn't a man, but she's the other half of my soul, and I could never ever hurt her or be without her. I think every inch of her body is beautiful, and she lights up like no other human ever could.
This is getting a bit funny.
Yeah, a little bit, but she completes me, and I know I won't need to be with anyone else, but I know no one will believe that. Is it possible to be gay except one woman? If so, that's what I am, lol. Edit, I realize now what... Why is there just a W there? I didn't notice that the first time. I realize now I'm probably on the bisexual spectrum somewhere instead, and I'm content with that. I don't really need a label. Oh, and to those calling me a pervert, a degenerate, a fetishist, etc. for being attracted to men, I suggest you try replacing the hate in your heart with love. It's worked out very well for me.
I love that little burn.
Yeah.
I love that of just like instead of being like fuck you, they're like, look, I wish you the best, but like clearly you're an ass.
I don't think there's any asshole here, in my opinion.
Well, this is a true off my chest. This is not an asshole.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I will say it sounds like the first part before the husband like perhaps realised that they were bisexual more than gay. They sounded like they were just wife sexual. Like the wife was the only like woman that they
So I'll say
could
this.
be
Sorry,
with.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Please finish.
That was just the end of the sentence.
So I'll say this, like, I'm gay, I'm pretty openly gay, but let's also be real. Even if you consider yourself very far on one end of the, like being attracted to men or women, there's still gonna be somebody who's like, okay, objectively, this is a very attractive person, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's not kid ourselves. We all have
Kim Kardashian.
We all have one person on the other, like, of both genders that could probably convince us.
Johnny Depp.
Scarlett Johansson, honestly.
Does it only count if, like, I have someone who's non-binary that would turn me? Because I consider myself to be bi and not pan. Because typically I'm not attracted to, like, non-binary people. I usually, like, this is a girl or this is a guy.
Well, you get my point.
But,
go on.
I definitely have exceptions to the rule. There are exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Most straight men would fuck Ryan Reynolds. Like, it's just...
Yeah, that is entirely true.
I mean, yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Like, also, once you do that, what child will you have? Like, the best child ever?
Yes.
I also will be real. Part of my interest in Marilyn Monroe, like, if she was alive today, right? Let's not kid ourselves. Women played Hollywood. That woman played all of Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So here's my take on this story. Is this someone who identifies as male?
That seems to be the implication I'm getting, but they do not explicitly say.
Okay. Well,
they didn't say they're lesbian. They said they're gay, which is...
Well, there's also non-binary like me.
Okay, well, then I'm going to go ahead and assume, and if I'm wrong, then, Reddit and YouTube can cancel me later. If this is a man, like, dog, welcome to being bisexual as a woman. Like, this, the way that I always say it, it's a joke, but it's also kind of true, is that bisexual women love all women and one golden retriever gamer boy.
What?
Like, this is... We all agree,
golden
women.
Retriever boy. A golden retriever gamer boy.
Oh,
yes.
So, so they're on
get in the comments, y'all know what I'm talking about.
They're on personal Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, exactly.
You own Tom Holland.
Yes. Oh, he definitely has golden retriever energy.
Honestly.
Tom Holland has such golden retriever energy.
The thing is, like, the funniest thing that just to take us on a bit of a tangent, is learning that Benedict Cumberbatch was paired with Tom Holland for the media stuff for Marvel to stop Tom Holland from spoiling everything.
Yep.
Yeah. He's just too excited.
What was Tom Holland about to do?
So, Tom Holland has a bad history of spoiling stuff in the MCU. I think he was the one that let it slip that Thanos was coming back from the end of, what was it, Avengers 1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a few other things, including that he was going to disappear in the blip. So, they apparently assigned Benedict Cumberbatch to him, Doctor Strange, to stop him from spoiling shit.
It's so petty, and I love it. But yeah, like... So, like I said, like, bisexual girls in the comments, you know what I'm talking about when I say this. Yeah, like, just because you haven't found another one that you like, if you like someone, or you are sexually attracted to someone with, it sounds like, again, I'm assuming here, but she sounds like a cisgendered woman.
Yeah.
Then, like, you like women, you just only like this woman, and then also men are hot. Like, Get down with your bad self.
There is also something to be said, because when I was first exploring my sexuality, there is something to be said about bisexual with a heavy lean, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel that quite describes me personally, but that kind of seems to be where this guy is, where it's like say 90% gay, 10% straight. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, look, I had dinner before this, because I'm the one who has to read this shit the whole time. I need to eat.
That's fair. Yeah, I think there's a lot of bisexuals in the world that have a very heavy lean.
There was an update to this one, by the way.
Ooh.
But okay.
I will say, I went through all of these profiles, and not too much craziness. There were a few updates. I also found one that just posted lewd photos.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
Can I see it?
No.
No.
Not for another year and a half, I think. A year and a quarter. Year and a quarter.
Trust me, Glitcher, we don't want to say no to you, but
legally we must.
We legally have to.
This person also did post on r/bisexual, but it was nothing new, so I omitted that post from this all.
Fair, but give us that juicy update.
Update. I'm gay and my wife doesn't know. TLDR. I told her. So after I posted here last week, I did a lot of research and I'm fairly certain I'm bisexual with a strong physical preference for men, but demisexual when it comes to women. I've never had deep feelings for anyone except my wife, male or female, but when I met her and started to develop those feelings, the physical attraction strongly followed. I obviously don't plan on ever finding out if it would be the same with other women, nor do I plan on being with men, despite what some people said. Either way, these labels don't really matter in themselves because I won't be exploring it, but I did decide I wanted to tell my wife and they helped me articulate it. So I sort of blurted it all out to her over the weekend. I told her I'm probably bisexual, demisexual, and initially wasn't sure whether to tell her. She's the only woman I've ever been sexually attracted to, but I did in the end. I told her my love for her wasn't defined by her gender, but that she's my soulmate and I'm truly in love with her heart, her mind, and her body. Those of you who said she probably knew more than I thought were right. She was sort of surprised, but not entirely. She said she assumed I wasn't straight because she had a vibe, not sure what that means, and she'd noticed I'd never talked about how other women were attractive. I think she was surprised that my preference other than her skews so significantly towards men, but she knows I don't want to pursue it, so she said it doesn't matter. She also told me she thinks she's on the bisexual spectrum too somewhere herself. That was such weird phrasing, dude. Though likewise has no plans to explore it. But it's such a relief to have it all out in the open with her. I told her I'd be more than happy to go to therapy with her if she wants processing, and she said that's not necessary right now, but it's good to know it's an option in the future. Thank you to everyone who left kind and critical but constructive messages, and no thank you to the homophobes. Looks like everything will be okay.
Hell yeah.
I think that's a good ending to that story.
Honestly, this is about as good as you can really get.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like...
Because,
go on. Sorry, go ahead.
The alternative is they break up, or she ends up, wanting to watch as he gets fucked by a dude.
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple of assumptions from this post, and this is obviously, me probably just reading too much into it, but, let me explain where I'm coming from here. I think this person probably grew up in a family that would not accept gay people. Because they immediately were like, oh god, I'm bisexual. Do we need to go to therapy? And it's like, no, you probably just have to suck a dick, dude. Like, you're probably fine. Like, sorry, I have no subtlety. You're good. You're just bisexual. You like men. Okay, fun fact is, she does too. You have something to bond over.
Ah.
I will say
now, just
go on.
Go ahead.
I thought you were done. Please finish.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, now, just instead of, trying to hide it all the time, if you guys are, watching a movie with like a really hot guy in it, both of you could just be like, "Damn, that guy's hot."
And both of you can masturbate on the couch.
Exactly. Just flick one out. You're good, dude.
The only thing I do disagree slightly with you is I don't necessarily think that they came from an overly, like, homophobic family. I think it's more that, like, what have I gotten myself into when I am 7 years married but gay, right? That seemed to be the initial post vibe to me. Maybe they do come from a homophobic family, but that seems to be where the panic came from, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's just a thing to me that I read this and I'm like, just the language that's kind of used.
That's fair, yeah.
I'm like, I could see you maybe coming from a family of a couple of assholes. I don't know.
I did forget to read some of the comments, but labels are so pointless. At the end of the day, you're attracted to men and you're over the moon for your wife. Just loving her is most important. Yeah.
I think this was such a cute story. I love it.
Yeah. I want to start on a bit of a happier note.
Nice and wholesome.
I'm not gonna lie, some of these get a little heavy. I did end with what I think is the funniest story, in my opinion.
Okay.
Gay, straight, both, it really doesn't matter. You're both committed to each other, and that's wonderful. Glad you went for the full transparency route and had that conversation. OP responds, I'm glad I did too. I was so conflicted whether to tell her or not, but she deserves to know everything about my full self. And it seems like it's helped her feel she can talk about herself too, so I hope it was the right decision.
Yeah, I think.
And again, communication wins. Smiley face. Also so happy you opened up to your wife, and who cares about labels? Oh god, you hate to see not to be that person. But identity is indeed important. I think I understand what you mean by label, but in a heteronormative society, it's actually important to clearly identify and celebrate differences in sexual and gender identities. Otherwise, we cease to exist. Not really. You just have to keep present that there is a queer, like, existence. Anyways, I wish it didn't have to be this way, but it is for the foreseeable future, I'm afraid. I wish I could log in to download that one, honestly.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing is, like, I wish it didn't have to be this way. Like, motherfucker, it doesn't.
You're reading too much into it.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, this is just such a sweet story. He just wants to be honest with his wife, and he's so committed to her, and it's cute.
I do agree with Glitcher that they are a little on the sappier side, but I do enjoy Sappy myself.
Wait,
it is definitely a sappy one.
When did I say anything about Sappy? What?
You mentioned that about midway through this paragraph of the wife being his soulmate in every absolute sense.
Okay.
But I enjoy Sappy myself, so yeah, it was cute.
Okay.
When I found this one in Google, I had to include it, especially since it was a Smosh one.
Yeah. You know, it's a great way to celebrate Reddit stories and to celebrate Pride Month.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
Hot guy movie marathon?
Ryan Reynolds movie marathon?
Absolutely. Got to get a Ryan Reynolds movie. Got to get a Johnny Depp movie.
Hell yeah, Johnny Depp.
Just watch Aquaman because it's literally just Jason Momoa wet and shirtless for most of the fucking movie.
Please.
I
love that man.
All right.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm happy everybody found their
Or
queerness.
if you watch Justice League, you get Aquaman and Superman.
I'll be honest, Henry Cavill does nothing for me.
Really? I love
Honestly,
him so
kind of
much.
same.
Aquaman does not do anything for me either.
No, they were saying Aquaman did do stuff for them.
Oh,
Aquaman does
nothing.
more for me than Henry Cavill, but like Jason Momoa does so
Oh,
much.
neither of them do anything for me. No.
All right, moving on. Partner came out as trans, and I can't deal.
Oh, they can't deal?
Oh no.
After more than 13 years together, my partner came out as trans. I had no idea, and I'm devastated. Everyone says that gender shouldn't matter, and I don't think it does. I don't care what they have between their legs. I just don't want to lose my person. Real quick, so this was something that initially bothered me, the phrase "my person." Through another post of theirs, they'll mention they're from Sweden, so I think there's a translation issue. Okay?
Maybe. Or they're just fucking weird.
Or they could be kinky like that.
It could also be just like a cultural thing where like calling your spouse your person is not that bad in Sweden, right? Like I don't know, but I'm just saying that was a hang up on me. But they'll say they're from Sweden in another post I have.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Looney tells me their person, so it's not. It's like
who does?
Looney.
Oh, so maybe it's a European thing, or like some parts of Europe. I can't sort out my feel.
I didn't think it was a bad thing.
I can't sort out my feelings. Everything feels chaotic and weird. I read other people's stories where the cis partner is over the moon about the news about their partner's transition and are so super ecstatic to be a part of their journey, and I just can't. I feel so ashamed when I read how happy other people are about it. I just feel that my partner has wrecked our whole future. At the same time, I'm glad that they might find happiness, but why must it come at the cost of my happiness? I know I'm a terrible person. My partner deserves someone who can give them support. I want to. I'm not against their transition. I'm just afraid to lose my person and place in the world. My big thing about this story, they say it comes at the cost of their happiness. You're actively making it, because it sounds like you are on the bisexual or pansexual spectrum themselves, right? But also, does this feel like a pity party to anyone else?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't feel any sort of remorse whatsoever towards this thing.
Not at all.
You are such a huge asshole, and you're like, well, I acknowledge that I am an asshole, but like also like why my feelings? It's like, well, your feelings because you're an asshole.
Again, too, like nothing about this says they're not attracted. They even said they don't care what's between a person's legs. So it sounds like Demi Pan buys something in that world, right?
Yeah,
so, like,
and yet at the same time transphobic.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey guys, queer people can be phobic as well. Like this is that wake up call. This is real bad. Your partner deserves way better than you. In every way, shape, or form. So yeah, I don't know. I have no sympathy.
No.
It just comes off as a terrible human being. Their transition is not about you. As a partner, you should look, and fair enough if you didn't know that this was coming, and you're like, well, I'm not attracted to the gender that you've recently identified as, or recently told me that you identify as, and you break the relationship off. Look, that sucks, but it's fair. But if you're just like, no, I support their... First of all, you don't. Let's start off with that. You're like, I support their transition. No, you don't. And you're like, I can't be happy with them because they are a trans person. Yeah, so you're not attracted to your partner anymore because they're trans. And again, kind of fair, but also not their fault. This is not your pity party. Shut the fuck up and move on. Please, God, tell me there's an update to this.
There is, but I was waiting to see if anybody else wanted to say anything.
Update.
I basically second what Med said.
Update. I have stabbed my my spouse.
I was just gonna say, for all it is, the person that's like the poster, clearly, is like Mid said, clearly transphobic, and just the minute you started like that section where the person that the poster wasn't happy with it, no.
The one thing too, and this is not like against like. This is not necessarily that they're not transphobic, but this is like the only world I could see where maybe they could not be transphobic. Is I think they've maybe view it as a bigger deal than it is. And like it could be that they're transphobic, it could be that they think like this will change literally their entire life, right?
And it kind of will. Like there are aspects of it where things will change.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you love your partner and you support them and you're still attracted to them and all that kind of stuff, like it changes for them. A lot of the times they actually don't need you to do anything.
Yeah.
Just support them and not be a prick and you're fine.
So real quick, my former manager's spouse came out as trans 10 years ago and 2 kids into their relationship. The manager was very supportive of their transition but ultimately chose to separate and divorce because my manager is straight. This is hard on both sides. You're not a terrible person. Not everyone is over the moon excited. I agree with this if it wasn't for the fact that they seem to be not straight, right?
And also the wording. This isn't like a simple case of like I'm just not attracted to them anymore. It's it's constantly hearing like it comes at my cost.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, you are an asshole.
A lot of the comments seem to be supporting them, like their feelings in some capacity.
I feel what you feel, but like, yeah, no. When they're pointing out stuff like, well, their transition comes at the cost of my happiness.
No, that is 100%.
Honestly, like, if you omitted this line, I'd be a lot more like, no, you're not terrible. This is kind of a weird situation, but like this line actively suggests transphobia.
Yeah, like when that person was like, oh, they supported their transition but ultimately had to break up because they were straight. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I just said, where it's like, this sucks, but, I support you as a person, but I'm just not attracted to that, right? You are who you are, and I am who I am.
I don't think I'm leaning towards labeling them total transphobia because, I am willing to believe that they do support their partner. I am leaning more towards they're just as selfish.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that could be the case where it's just like maybe
they're
you're
just
not
looking at this totally one-sided. Yeah. Yeah, they're just a regular asshole.
So they now posted on r/mypartneristrans. Anyone from Sweden? I'm still new to all of this. My partner MTF came out 2 months ago, and I'm still trying to navigate my feelings. I'm reading a lot and trying to learn and understand what my partner is going through and what they are going to go through, but a lot of it is US centered. I'm looking for someone from Sweden who can help me understand what being trans in a relatively supportive country is like. What I understand, Sweden is somewhat supportive of trans rights, but how is everyday life like? How is it to go from a hetero couple to a lesbian couple? Okay, so this is a female OP.
Ah.
To
Okay,
a lesbian couple. How did your parents and friends react? Couples counseling. How is the trans care and gender confirming care? Maybe there is no difference compared to the US? Question mark. Think I just need someone to talk to in my own language.
Mhm.
So, what I will say from this, it sounded like maybe it was a little more of an ignorance thing on the other post as opposed to active transphobia, like Scylla seemed to suggest somewhat.
And what they're saying about like language barriers and social barriers, I'm getting that they're looking. I understand that they're looking for
Looking for what?
a person of their culture to help them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, being trans, being whatever you are, is different everywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, you know, I actively go into this, and yeah, like there's a huge difference between even Southern and Northern Europe. With some differences, like Spain is usually pretty progressive on this stuff. Iberia in general, frankly. But like, yeah, no, it's not going to be the same in even Sweden and Lithuania, two relatively close nations, are very different, right?
I also believe that someone who was an asshole can no longer be an asshole.
Yeah, that's.
I think you were an asshole when you wrote this. But maybe you are more educated and maybe you've sewn your asshole shut.
Damn.
Well, that's a sentence I didn't expect to hear today. I will also say one thing that I do personally like is that they don't seem to be breaking up over this. Like, this person seems to want to make it work.
Yeah, no, they don't.
In some capacity. What I do know about Sweden, at least, they are relatively progressive, but they don't. Some of the laws have lingered behind a little bit compared to, like, the Dutch, for example. I also know a lot of trans reaffirming care is taken care of in, weirdly enough, Thailand, Iran, and South Korea.
Well, yeah, that's why the U.S. tends to make fun of Thailand a lot for having,
quote unquote, lady boys.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, they all got chicks with dicks. And it's like, sounds like you're mad because they won't fuck you.
There is one more post from them. I'll admit, I forgot to see if I put them in order.
Yeah.
So this one is older. This was supposed to be before the other one, and I do apologize. So we're going to have a slight regression here. And you can probably tell, considering happy, sad, angry.
Yeah.
Also, this is also still posted on My Partner is Trans.
Okay.
My partner of 10 plus years wants to transition and I can't sort out my feelings. I have so much going through my life at the moment. I'm moving and starting a new job, and then this. The job is in a new field, and I'm going to have a ton of responsibility. I have to move and live without my partner for a while because of the new job, and I was totally blindsided when my partner told me about their gender dysphoria. Everything just feels so chaotic. One day I'm happy and buying them gifts, the next I'm really sad and on the verge of crying. Then I get angry. Well, I guess that explains happy, sad, angry. Then anxious, then sad again, then back to happy, and round it goes. I was already scared about the future because of the move and my new work, and this scares me too. My partner told me they won't transition if that meant the end of our relationship. Oh,
that's terrible.
Aw, that's a terrible thing.
No, I mean, all on the partner side.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's sweet that they want this to work, but also it shouldn't be at the expense of hers happiness. I don't think that's fair. I want them to be happy and do what makes them happy. I just can't sort out my feelings about all of this. Can I be happy and sad? Do I have to be ecstatic from the beginning? I'm not even sure what feeling is connected to this situation. I won't lie, every time I read this line, can I be happy and sad? I'm just like, have you seen Inside Out?
Welcome to a core memory, motherfucker.
So, are you finished reading?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first I'll say is I understand the feeling happy and sad. I think that's okay to feel multiple emotions at once. But I am still also getting a little hint of the just being an asshole thing and self-centered.
Yep.
Yeah, they're a little self-centered. But I also want to say, and as somebody who's not trans but is gender fluid, maybe Med can shed a little more light on this situation. I don't feel it's necessarily wrong to be a little surprised when your partner comes out as trans or something like that.
Yeah.
Just now, I don't like entirely how they've handled it, but I also do think there's something to be said, like, yeah, being so interconnected, because it's, 13 years they mentioned in the first post, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That can be a lot of time just seemingly, quote-unquote, wasted if the relationship does end over this, right?
Yeah, fair.
Sucks. It also, in typical Reddit stories fashion, we don't have all of the information, right?
No.
So we don't know how the topic was brought up.
Yeah.
We don't know, was this foreseeable to a certain degree?
What I will say is she seemed unaware of the situation and seems to have been like what she thought was her boyfriend suddenly is like, hey, can we have a talk, and then proceeds to drop that.
I'm a woman now.
Yeah.
And it's like, but skews the fuck out of me. Like, yeah, that's jarring. But again, it's just like
how they write it.
It's how they write it, because it always seems to come down to like, man, this is how it makes me feel. And it's like, okay, your partner's going through an incredibly difficult transitionary period. Do you ever want to talk about them?
So I want to say two things to that, if you don't mind. And I'm not trying to defend them, I'm just saying what I'm thinking, right?
Fair, yeah.
It seems that they're trying to get a little more perspective for themselves. So I understand that this seems to like a certain level of therapy for them almost. Like they're trying to get out their feelings and learn some stuff as well, right?
Yeah, Reddit ain't the place to do it.
I hate to say it, but some people are going to, though, right?
But for sure.
The other thing too is, and this goes back to the Smosh of it all. You know, me and Med watch a lot of Smosh, and including the Reddit stories. One of the members, Shane, specifically says, "You're not necessarily an asshole for what you said, but you're an asshole for how you are saying it." Like, there are people on here who like are totally in the right. I wouldn't say that's quite this person, but they're not. I don't think they're necessarily an asshole. I think they're just a little misguided, a little self-centered. But yeah, it's a matter of like how you go about it, and that's where a lot of their assholeness is coming from, in my opinion.
It's like, oh, I didn't realize that, your pants didn't have a back to them, but now I can see your asshole. But yeah, I think that this person should educate themselves, and should also eat some fucking humble pie.
I also think, and I don't remember seeing this mentioned anywhere on the profile, they seem to need to put in a certain amount of perspective on if they are okay in a lesbian relationship. Because they mentioned somewhere, how is it to go from a hetero couple to a lesbian couple, right? There's a certain amount of like, are they bisexual? Are they pan? Like, they never really mention it, it seems. Right?
So yeah. I don't feel like she's talking about it so much sexually. I don't get that vibe. I feel like she might just be more meaning like out in society and that.
That's fair, but also there seems to be a certain reluctance to make the transition from her writing. Maybe I'm misreading, sure.
No, fair. That's just my vibe.
Yeah.
Raven, Glitcher, anything to add?
I'm just... Again, it's just the tone of the original Is this is the same one from before, right?
Yes, these last three have all been the same person.
Yeah, just the tone of that first message just kind of got my hackles up.
Yeah. No, and if I put these in the correct order, these first two definitely feel like a bit of a pity party. Like maybe these were made in like the first week of finding out, right?
Yeah.
Where like there's still a lot of shock to it all. And then the third one seems to be like a certain amount of acceptance, but what is this going to mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't help that I did mess up and put these out of order.
I mean, I'll be honest. Mentally, I can put them in the same, in the order they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on?
No, I think we're good. Glitcher, anything?
What?
Do you have any feelings one way or the other?
No.
All right.
Am I the asshole for after accidentally misgendering my gender fluid friend? I, 17 non-binary, have a gender fluid friend, Oliver or Olivia, depending on who he feels like, using he/him pronouns right now because that's what he identifies as of the time of writing this. He came out to me and our friend group 2 months ago, and since then, we have all done our very best to be really supportive of him. Whenever he feels like his identity is changing, he will text us his preferred pronouns for the day, and we will use them. However, sometimes his pronouns will change during the middle of the day, and sometimes multiple times. It can be confusing to keep up with, but we try our best because most of us are queer and we know how it feels to be disrespected. Anyways, 2 days ago, I was having a really rough day. My parents told me they were getting a divorce and my dog had been put down the day before. In the midst of telling Oliver about this, he sent me his preferred pronouns of the day, but I did not notice. Later that day, he and some of our other friends came over to cheer me up, and during that time I accidentally misgendered him because I assumed he was using the same pronouns he had been using the day before, since I hadn't seen the text from him updating me. Oliver got super pissed, and I profusely apologized, and he settled down a little bit. A few minutes later, I left the room to use the bathroom, and when I came back, I referred to Oliver as Olivia, since that's what he had corrected me to. However, he flipped out again and said his identity had changed, and when I pointed out I hadn't been in the room, he said I should have asked instead of assuming. I got really frustrated and told him that he wasn't helping anything after the day I had. I said something to the effect of, I know it sucks getting misgendered, I'm non-binary, so I should know, but you constantly change your pronouns, and while I try my best, it can be hard to keep up, so I'm sorry. I'm not intuitive enough to know what gender you are every minute of the day. He called me a transphobic asshole and left, and one of my friends went with him agreeing. The other friend stayed and said that I wasn't the asshole. So Reddit, am I the asshole for accidentally misgendering my friend twice in the day after I wasn't aware of his gender change?
I'm gonna go no.
This is why I go with they.
Yeah, that's a no, but also the one that got misgendered might need to go see a doctor to check if they've got split personalities. With the way it's flip flopping so much,
that's actually
it might be split personalities.
That's actually a thing that can happen with gender fluidity. I myself, as somebody who's gender fluid, have this happen. And that's why the constant he, him, like, I didn't want to have to keep updating pronouns in servers, right? So I just went for they because everyone kept using he, him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the only thing I don't like is the comment about not being intuitive enough to know what gender you are every minute of the day. That's the only thing where I'm like, you're getting close to the line there, buddy. You're getting close to the line.
I mean, everybody snaps every once in a while.
No,
so
I know.
You can't call someone an asshole for messing up once.
and here's the thing, right? They messed up once. The second time, they had no idea. There was no way that they would have an idea, and you can't just like. I'm sorry, I'm not asking you what your pronouns are every time that like we're not in a room with each other.
I will say the only thing I want to point out too is I don't think they even took their phone the second time.
Well, so something
that
that
doesn't mention.
Something else that I hate is the fact that they also change their name every time.
Well, that can be a thing some gender fluid people do. If I'm being honest, I've looked at switching my name to a gender neutral one, like Alex, for example.
Yeah, like that works. Is like if you can find a middle ground where the name works with both identities, and if you can't, don't be surprised if people can't keep up.
The thing that irritates me too is it sounds like, now obviously going to what Matt said, we have limited knowledge on this one, right?
Yes.
We don't know how good they have been in the past, but from what we can see here, it sounds like they've been relatively good. I don't like that the first time this happens, I'm going to call it Oliver because at the time of them writing this, it was using he, him, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the first time it happened, they flip out. The second time, I could be a tiny bit more understanding, depending on the extent to it. But, like, you have to accept that it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
So, okay. We are streaming. And how do I do this in a nice way that puts everybody in a blanket so that nobody gets angry? I don't. Here we go. There's a very large aspect of the queer community that are entitled little shits. And I know this because I am part of the trans community. And there are a lot of entitled fucking trans people out there. And this is a relatively new thing sociologically. Yes, I know that like trans people have been around for like forever. Yes, I get it. But in terms of acceptable societal norms and education on the subject, this is relatively new. So not even queer people are going to get it 100% of the time. There are a bunch of things in the queer community I don't understand, and I'm still learning, and I'm going to fuck up with them. If you're willing to sit there and be like, hey, I'm willing to teach you, then great. If you're going to jump down my throat about it, I don't care what flavor of the gay rainbow you are, you can fuck right off.
Like, I agree with Med.
I definitely feel like, and maybe I want to add a little more to this. I definitely feel there are some people who are a little too heavy-handed with it. Like, when somebody says he for me, I'll quickly be like they and move on, right? But I do also feel there's something to be said that a lot of there have been a lot of bigots out there who will constantly use, let's say, she when they know it should be he, right? I've seen one Reddit story, and I wish I found it, but I couldn't remember the title, where like a teacher just refused to accept they them pronoun, not that a student transition from male to female. So one of the other teachers started dead naming her because she had recently gotten married. So like everyone started using her old name instead of her married name. As like revenge.
That's good. I like that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I wish I could have found it. I need to look for it and see if I can do that in another one of these.
And for people who are like, oh, 2 wrongs don't make a right, fuck off.
In fairness, the woman in that story was like a 60-something-year-old who was like bragging about it in the teacher's lounge that she had no intention of correctly naming that student.
Yeah, so, it's like, okay to be an asshole to assholes.
It's a little bit of like eye for an eye, right? And like not even in a way that's really that harmful. It's just like you're showing disrespect, I'll disrespect you.
Right.
One thing I will say too, but like, yeah, this actually does happen where like I'll be like, I feel relatively masculine today, and then it transitions to feminine in literally 2 seconds sometimes.
Yeah, but then at that point, I feel like, you know, if there's a new update, it's up to the company.
I didn't see an update. It seemed like this was.
Oh no. Sorry, I was just doing like a metaphor.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Right. It's like, can you imagine if like a game got updated, and well, actually, this has happened in games before, where people like where games have been updated, and the company was like, "Well, what? You didn't look for the update?" You're like, "No, you have to update us. You're the company. You own the game." Like, and that's the case, right? If there's an update, if there's a gender change, if there's a pronoun change, if there's a name change, you have to keep us updated.
All right. Any more on that story before we move on to our first asexual one?
Let's see if we've got an ace up our sleeve.
Man, you no longer have rights of speech.
I just noticed this username, aggravating donkey 364.
The fuck?
So they might not be the asshole, but they are the ass.
Well, this is true off my chest. Anyway, so that would have been a really good joke if it wasn't for that.
Well, damn it! Now I'm just gonna have to throw that one away for a rainy day.
That's what you have just done. You have made yourself sound stupid.
I have.
I, 18M, wish I was asexual. Off the bat, I just want to say, if you wish you were, you probably are, and I'm lying to yourself.
Yeah.
There's a possibility with that, but like, okay, before we're even getting into the story, I do have a friend of mine since high school who was like, who hates the fact that he's straight.
Oh, so okay.
I mean, yeah. Hey, Raven, how do you feel about being called out?
I probably should have asked if that was okay to bring up too.
Yeah, sorry.
He was like, yeah, like I would have so many more options. There are men that like genuinely I can say, like, this is an attractive man, but I don't want to fuck him. And it's like, I wish I wanted to fuck him.
The Ryans.
Yes, exactly.
This is sounding more and more like me. I'm getting confused.
Well, enjoy, Raven. You have a Canadian counterpart.
I'm just barely an adult. Sexuality is just a chore at this point. I like masturbating, but it's pointless. I gain nothing from it. The idea of having sex sounds like so much fun to me until I realize that it's an intimate connection with another person. I love connecting with people emotionally, but sex is different. It's so intimate. You go inside another person.
What?
I forgot. I did not read this in the correct headspace to process that sentence.
This is gonna be amazing.
You go inside another person, and it's just weird to think about. I haven't had sex with
anyone. Did you just look at?
Yeah, I don't want to think about it like that.
I haven't had sex with anyone and probably never will. I don't want to be that close to someone. I just feel weirded out by the idea of having sex. Everyone says sexuality is so liberating, but it's so constraining. I don't really know how to explain it, but my sexuality just makes me feel so confined.
Yeah,
Z is asking, is this safe for streams?
If this was even safe, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not porn. Like, yeah, mention
it's
It's
not.
getting there.
Yeah, fam, here's the thing. Look up any of Cottontail's fucking Twitch streams and tell me this is what's breaking the fucking boundaries. Yeah, no, we're fine.
So can I be honest here?
Sure.
It's not that this person sounds like they're asexual to me. It sounds like they're aromantic and don't know how to decouple sex from romance.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I can agree with that. I think when they realize that, like, sex is just an activity. Like, that is all it is. If you put, love and intimacy with it, then great, good for you. That is not necessarily true by default. And also, this person is fucking awesome.
I'll also say this. I realize that it's an intimate connection. There are entire websites that will say differently, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we call porn.
Well, honestly, like, it's funny because kind of, yeah. Like, there wouldn't be a porn industry if everybody was falling in love after every, like, instance of sex.
Let's also not forget, like, things like friends with benefits or just blind hookups at bars, right?
I mean, I'm not one to talk. My heart lives in my vagina, so.
Girl, I'm with you. I got that hoe mentality.
Hell yeah.
Like,
why was that the funniest shit?
my heart lives in my vagina.
Oh my god.
That was fantastic, Rose.
Thank you.
Bad out of context quotes.
Oh God. They're just
But
gonna
yeah.
say, Rose said my heart lives in my vagina. They're gonna be like, what the fuck?
When people are like, oh, I can't just, sex has to be intimate. Have you tried it not being? Like, just don't.
Apparently, not the heart beating in the vagina. That's weird.
No, well, Rose might have to see a doctor, but we'll get to that later on.
Hey, yeah,
Rose just outed herself as an alien?
No, I did not.
Quick call
So you're saying that
call the
somebody
US government.
You're saying when you have sex, there's a chance of death because your heart lives in your vagina.
Oh god.
The penis could penetrate your
Oh
heart.
my glitcher.
Back to the story.
Like
It's not any worse than the story itself.
I'll read the line again, Glitcho. Oh my god. Raven, do you have anything to add?
Raven, do you got anything to say? Do you...
No,
he can't breathe, apparently.
He's dying.
He can't breathe.
I'm having trouble here myself.
Oh, man. We just have to give this person a crash course on being a slut.
And potential aromanticism.
Yes. But also, I just love everything about how this was worded.
I love that they feel the need to describe sex too.
It's when you
go inside.
When you go inside someone else.
The other thing too is this is coming back to a little bit of the trans story. Like, it's just a tiny bit self-centered too, because they gave the male side of it, not the female side of it.
Oh,
unless
absolutely.
you're talking strap-ons.
It's when you have someone put themselves inside you.
Like, it's just so fantastic.
It just could not have been worded any better.
Hey,
there's no realm with it where this could be worded better.
Med, what do you think about this being a potential?
There are other
legend?
ways to get inside of another person other than a sex skin suit.
I mean, considering that we're kind of in the infancy of your particular reading Reddit stories, I think this might be our first legend.
No, Scylla, what you missed was he said there are other ways to go inside another person other than sex. Skin suit.
Hello, Buffalo Bill.
I mean, I was thinking surgery, but okay.
You could just stick your hand in somebody's mouth.
You could stick your hand in someone's junk. It would hurt.
No.
And here we have in order a Slytherin, a Ravenclaw, and a Hufflepuff.
Am I the Ravenclaw?
Yep.
I live up to my Harry Potter house. The only thing I will actually say about that show, about that series, besides hating on J.K. Rowling.
Oh yes. Oh my god. Oh, this person fucking rules.
He's asking Glitcher if he's allowed to breathe.
Oh.
All right.
See, you are not allowed to breathe, and if you do, choke.
Any more about this story before we?
I've never heard a sex repulsed or romantic repulsed person describe it in such an amazing way. You, my friend, are a legend, and I wish you nothing but good, meaningless, heartless, soulless sex.
Real quick, the only comment, by the way, and I find it funny there's only one comment. You sound pretty sex-averse, but maybe you are some variety of ace. It's fine not to not have sex with anyone else while you figure out who you are and what you want. It's fine to have other kinds of connections with people and take care of your libido yourself. And it's fine if you change your mind about that later. Sexuality is liberating when it's affirming who you are, not when you think it's a chore you need to complete. I don't know why I
my favorite chore of the day, sex.
Yes, I do believe I'm a little bit late for my 5:30 sexing.
I would always be on time to that appointment.
Yeah, you would.
I would always be like 10 hours late.
This one has an update.
I'd like to stay after.
There is an update?
Not that one. This one.
Ah.
Oh, this one has an update. Okay, good.
Am I the asshole for explaining gay people to a 5-year-old?
Okay.
Immediately, I don't know why. I like to try and guess these before I read them, right? And even when I read this, I was like, no. What homophobe are you dealing with, right?
Oh, but I could see it. Because again, this person is like explaining gay people. The way that sounds, it sounds like they're not gay. I could be wrong immediately.
They are gay.
Okay, they are. It depends on your explanation.
Sex is the best chore.
I, 24M, have a sister, S, 28F, who got recently married to a guy, G, 33M, and G has a daughter, D, 5F.
Why is he labeling them in...
Already
I was like, brother, you could just give a fake name.
Yeah, I don't... This is one thing, like, going a little bad to, like, you are the asshole for how you wrote this. I don't like that it's S for sister, G for guy, D for dog. Just give them names. Give them names.
Right.
Make this
that's Gregory, Dick, and...
That's a daughter. A 5-year-old daughter.
The daughter.
Desiree.
Desiree.
I was... Really? The horny ghost from Danny Phantom?
I didn't watch Danny Phantom.
We need to show Matt Danny Phantom.
I've also never seen Danny
Isn't
Phantom.
that also another one of those cartoons, though, that has like a hot, barely clothed gothic chick that every girl finds their lesbian awakening in?
You described half of the kids' shows between 1998 and 2004.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fair.
She-Go.
Yeah. Well, okay, this is one of the ones where she's not a bad guy.
Okay. Who our family treats like my sister's daughter. Some context.
Mine was probably like Teen Titans.
Some context.
Sorry.
My sister was always supportive of my coming out, and G is less supportive, I think. For example, my boyfriend wasn't invited for their marriage, and the excuse was that his mother is very religious. Before me, my sister and my boyfriend used to have dinner together. I think that's before marriage, my sister, my boyfriend, and I would have dinner together. Oh, no. Okay. After the marriage, my sister has never invited us together to her place. It's always in a restaurant, and G doesn't go. My sister...
Wait, after her marriage?
Yeah, after she got married, she hasn't had dinner with them.
Okay.
At home dinner, I should say.
Yeah.
My sister asked me if I could take care of Dee for this weekend so she and her husband G could take a weekend off to celebrate 3 years together. I changed some plans and told them that I would do it. Dee is a nice little girl. She's very talkative and she's really sensitive. On Saturday, we went to the mall with my boyfriend. At the mall, there was a workshop, arts and crafts at the playground, and I left Dee there for 2 hours so I could have some time with my BF. I asked my sister beforehand if that's okay, and she said that Dee loves those workshops. When saying goodbye, my boyfriend gave me a little goodbye kiss. Nothing much, just a little kiss. I wasn't even sure if Dee saw it. Sunday morning, I was watching TV and with her, and she asked if my boyfriend was my friend, and I said yes. But she asked why he kissed me, and I had a little bit of gay panic. I carefully explained to her that he was the same that my sister was to her father. She told... What?
That he was what?
Oh,
the boyfriend was the same to the OP as the father is to the sister.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I heard that wrong too. I heard the sister to her father.
Well,
like her father, the daughter's father.
Yeah, well, she's dating the daughter's father.
Yeah.
Married, sorry. They're married now.
The wording was a tad off, but I'm here.
I thought that the sister was in love with the father.
I was so confused.
I mean, the sister is in love with the father of the daughter.
Yeah, but the way I believe me and Med had that go in our heads, Panda, was that the way it's written made me think, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Made the Alabama siren go off in my head.
Yep, me too.
Yeah,
she told me, but you're boys. And I said, there are boys who like boys and there are girls who like girls, and that's okay. She didn't say anything after that. On Monday, I got an angry text from G saying that D was confused because of me. I called him and he was just shouting that I had no right to introduce my way of life, in quotation marks, to his daughter. I was shocked and called my sister, who said that I shouldn't have told D what gay people are. Tuesday in the afternoon, I got an email from G saying that he was taking D to a psychologist to see what damage I caused to his daughter, and that I was supposed to pay for the session. He was even talking about a lawsuit against me. I was very shocked. I was very shocked, and I called my dad, who is a lawyer, to ask him what I should do. My parents were very upset with the situation, and they decided to come to our city. Me and my sister live in the capital, and my parents in a small city 3 hours from here. The situation escalated a little bit because G told my dad that he wasn't going to make the same mistake that he did with me, and my dad was very angry about it. He said that G isn't welcome to our family anymore, and he doesn't want to ever see him again. My sister, who I thought was at my side, just flipped at me saying that it was my mistake. That my mistake was going to destroy her marriage. My parents are on my side and my friends too, but my sister is very angry at me, and even her best friend texted me saying I was stupid and childish to bring my father to the matter. So Reddit, am I the asshole here?
No, 100% no.
I want to add one piece of context real quick, by the way.
Okay.
So again, I went through these profiles, right? They mentioned somewhere that they were Dutch moving to Portugal, so I believe this is in the Netherlands, these people. Because I was trying to figure this out at first.
They can fucking suck my Netherlands. Like, no. So, your sister's homophobic. I don't give a shit if you say, like, oh, but she was cool with me coming out. It's like, no, she's an asshole.
So
she's
And her
homophobic
husband-
as fuck because she probably showed her daughter, like, 1,000 different movies with heterosexual couples and kisses and all that shit in them, but it was wrong for you because you're gay and gay people are wrong.
So,
and that's what she's saying.
The one thing I do want to say is I've seen a lot of these Reddit stories, some LGBT, some not LGBT, right? There is a pattern, and I think this may be one because there's a 5-year age gap between the sister and the father of the daughter, right? Maybe this guy's being a little controlling. Maybe the family's been like trying to indoctrinate her almost, because it sounds like she was cool and like they've turned her against gay people. That's the vibe I'm getting, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is also one of, like, the many things in life that makes me very glad I'm never getting married. Because it seems like marriage is this thing that just melds you into another person. Right? And it's so fucking annoying because at that point, each individual person just fails to have an identity of their own. Like, and the husband, oh my god, the husband. Like, it was angry up until it was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard.
It was when
like, we're taking her to... Go ahead.
It was, you need to pay for the psychologist. You don't even need a psychologist to begin with. You're just being a bigot.
Right. Like, we're taking her to a psychologist to find out what damage you caused. No, please, go to a psychiatrist's appointment. I would love to be there.
So here's the thing. The husband of the sister. By the end of that, my feelings towards him were, where do I get a rusty spoon to skin him alive with?
There we go. Yeah, Raven's got the right idea.
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
I'm down.
Like, you don't... This is why I say to people, there is no skill involved in having a child. Like, there's skill involved in being a parent, but anybody can fucking release their love juice into a female.
Ew.
Like, yeah, well, I mean, there's that sentence in your head forever. Yeah, like, there's no skill involved whatsoever, and you should have your genitalia shut off. Stop parenting children. Stop having children. You clearly don't qualify for, like, the most basic of intellectual things. You think you need to see a psychiatrist because fucking they learned about the gays. Oh no.
Interesting.
And then, like, you're gonna pay, and then,
oh no.
And then apparently he's also going to file a lawsuit against them. My god, that it's like stupid after stupid. Ugh.
How do you really
Also, I will say, you said that all, like, marriage makes you meld into each other. My parents are the farthest thing from that.
Yeah, I
Both
will
of them have complete opposite opinions. One is a hardworking mother. The other one relaxes on the couch eating potato chips all day. Like,
one thing I want to say too is there are marriages like glitches. There are marriages like this where, like, not all of them meld you together, but I find the ones that do can be incredibly toxic depending on what traits, right? And considering there seems to be an element of homophobia, I would agree that there was some issues with this one.
Yeah, let's put this one back in the oven for a little bit. It's clearly not done yet.
There is an update.
Oh, sweet baby Lanta.
Oh, God.
Tell me he went through with it.
Lawsuit?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they did not.
Yeah, no shit.
This is a little update on my original post, and I want to thank everyone, even the ones who were mean to me, because it helped me to think about my next steps on this mess. The same week I wrote this post, my mom asked me to go to her house and talk, and told me that she was talking with my sister about her and her husband's actions. My mother asked me to try to conciliate with my sister, with my sister because it was the best for both of us. I had mixed feelings about it, and we decided to have a family lunch with me, my sister, and my mom at my parents' place on the following Saturday. The outcome wasn't good at all. My sister was mean to me and said that I tried to play my parents against her and her husband. My mother is very upset on how my sister is acting, and they had a fight. Things were worse after that, and my mother is saying she doesn't recognize my sister anymore. Things went really south because my father's birthday was April 15th. It was his 60th celebration, and we planned that for months. My father called my sister and said that she and her stepdaughter were invited, but her husband wasn't. She was upset and outraged and said that if her husband couldn't go, she wouldn't go either. And my father said, then don't come. A whole lot of drama. My sister sent me a very angry email saying that from that moment on, she didn't want any contact with me, and that I didn't need to expect forgiveness from her in the future when I am lonely because gay people ends lonely. She blocked me on social media, and her contact with my parents is none at this point.
Okay, so yeah, she's a homophobe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this assumption, and I'm sorry. I think she was a homophobe the entire time.
I'm not saying she isn't. I'm just saying that's my brain went to the step family indoctrinating her because that does unfortunately happen in some of these stories, right?
It does. But yeah, I don't believe it. I think she was a homophobe the entire time, and the only reason that she didn't say anything was because the rest of the family was super happy for him, as they fucking should be.
One thing I will say too is I'm very happy for the most part with everyone else besides the sister and the husband, just because, like, again, going to the Dutch are one of the most accepting countries. They were the first one to allow same-sex marriage in the modern era, and have one of the highest like LGBT rights scores. With a lot of things they're still not like doing being just non-issues in their country, like conversion therapy.
Yeah. I hope that their daughter is gay as hell. I hope their daughter grows up and just has an entire harem of bitches by her side.
I hope the husband has an accident that cuts off his dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I'm really happy of how the parents did this too, because a lot of times, like I worried when I first read this update if the father might be like, okay, fine, we'll uninvite the OP, right? The fact that he stuck to his guns, like, no, your husband's not coming because he's being actively homophobic, and I can't support that. Like, I am happy with how that all happened personally, because, like, he shouldn't be looked down upon for who he is, right?
Yes, exactly.
I don't think any of us would make that argument.
Yep, good riddance. The only person really, I mean, I feel bad for OP because obviously that's his family, and
horrible.
he thought that his sister was a good person when she's not. I also feel bad for the daughter because she'll never really be able to be who she is if she's anything other than the status quo of like cisgender fucking heterosexual.
One thing I'm also worried about, let's say she is cishet, right? Let's say that's a non-issue. she's still gonna grow up with this family trying to like almost indoctrinate her into this way of homophobia, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyone have anything else they want to add before we move on?
No.
I think I'm good.
May this guy get an axe to the groin.
That's
Amen.
being nice about it.
What?
That's being nice about it.
I don't know. I think an axe to the dick's pretty bad.
No,
I was
blood.
thinking more like chainsaw.
Oh, fair.
No. You guys keep going sharp. No, blood.
Yeah, a rusted spoon.
Well,
You skin him alive.
Here's the thing. How likely is it for the dick to be removed with something like that isn't sharp?
It'll take a while.
He'll feel it more. Also, I don't even necessarily want his. I don't really necessarily want his dick removed. I just want it to not work anymore.
Maybe a boiling hot fire poker?
Yeah, like King Edward.
Yep.
Yes.
Red hot poker up the.
Alright. This is another one I don't think I saw an update. Yeah, this is the only post. Am I the asshole for refusing to tell my father I'm pansexual? Yeah, this was a throwaway account. I, 20F, am pansexual. I've known since I was 9 years old. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I've come to accept this part of me over time. In the beginning, I was in denial because of, well, my dad's, 42M's, very open opinions on homosexuality. For as long as I can remember, my father has always talked down to those who weren't straight. His favorite thing to say is that people who are homosexual are mentally ill and that it's scientific fact, quotation marks. He doesn't believe someone could truly be into both genders. He just thinks this. I'm going to do SL blank TS, just because I don't know how Twitch and YouTube feel about that word.
Okay.
Although, to be fair, didn't we say it earlier? I think Med did.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we did say it earlier.
What did I say?
SL asterisk TS.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
Slut.
Oh. Yeah, no, I definitely did.
Okay.
I was about to say it's a word that rhymes with but.
I have called him out on his blatant homophobia, and his response is always, I have gay friends, so I can't be homophobic.
Oh my god, I hate this guy.
I've given up at this point. The issue wasn't until I decided I'd be moving out of the country for college. Recently, I visited Sweden with friends and absolutely fell in love with the country. Both me and one of my best friends have made it our goal to live there. My friend is gay and would be coming from a very homophobic country where he can't be himself. I would be coming from a family where I can't be myself comfortably. Sweden would be the first place I could experience my sexuality without fear of expressing who I am. My mother is very supportive of me moving out of the country, but believes I should tell my dad my sexuality before I leave. She knows that I'm not straight, though I told her I'm bisexual because pansexuality is hard to explain to someone who isn't familiar with the LGBTQ plus community. She also knows my dad's opinions. I told her I did not want to tell him because he would just give me a lecture about how I'm confused and trying to be cool. I could tell she was annoyed by my response, but she insisted that I was his daughter and that he'd love me no matter what I identified as. I scoffed and said I'd tell him only if I got engaged to a woman. If he doesn't want to come to my wedding, then so be it. My mom hasn't spoken to me since our argument, and I told my sister about the fight. She agrees with my mom and thinks I'm being unnecessarily stubborn about this. Might as well whip off the band-aid before I leave. AITA? I want to say one thing. I find it incredibly funny. He used the same line of, I can't be racist, I have black friends.
Yeah.
So your dad is Donald Trump, and this is why this is a throwaway account. And, Melania's completely okay with you moving to another country because, well, she wishes she could. Yeah, no, not the asshole. It is nobody's business but yours who you tell about your sexuality to, and that ends there.
The one thing I'll say too, I understand the mom and the sister being like, he should know, because they know, but I don't think they understand the objective difference between them knowing as people who have not openly said homophobic shit. I also do feel that it is, like, it's always going to be wrong to pressure somebody to come out to someone before they're ready. Especially when they've seemed to demonstrate open homophobia.
Yep. Never tell somebody to come out. That's not your place. And for this girl's sake, I really hope that her mother does not decide for her. Because outing like a queer person,
no, outing somebody is not okay,
is probably one of the worst things you could do socially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, this is up to her and her alone who she tells. Whoever she tells should be incredibly honored that she's telling them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a big thing because of assholes like her father. So, yeah, no, screw this guy.
I mean, oddly enough, this actually reminds me of something that happened to me very recently. Where one of my friends that I've known since high school, he came out as being homosexual, and oh, just a second.
That was bad timing.
Yeah.
While we wait, Glitcher, any thoughts?
No.
Yeah,
Right.
Sorry about that. My mum came in. So back to the story. So this friend of mine come out as being homosexual, and said when he was telling me this, that I was the only person he was scared of telling. Like, he didn't care about telling his dad, his mum, any of his family. The only person he was scared about telling was me.
I don't think you've ever given that impression, but obviously I don't know your interactions with them, right?
Yeah, and because I'd never given any indication as at the time, even though like it's fairly open that I don't particularly care about anyone's sexuality, they can be whatever the hell they want. But at the time, he obviously had been keeping this secret for a long, long, long time. Because the minute I said, okay, fine, let's get back to what we were doing, he gave me like a huge hug and started crying in happiness.
Aw.
Oh, that's adorable.
That is adorable.
Anyway, back to Reddit.
Any comments before we continue on?
I don't think so.
No.
I just think that she's, yeah, it's her business and they should fuck off.
We're honestly going through these a lot quicker than I expected to. I guess we're about halfway through the tabs, yeah. I forgot I picked the
phone. Okay.
Matt, I'm gonna be honest. There might be some clarification needed from you as the only openly trans person here. Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Trans friend says I'm an egg? Question mark.
What?
Let me read.
All right.
I have always considered myself a cis woman, but a friend of mine who's MTF keeps calling me an egg, and it makes me feel annoyed / uncomfortable? Question mark. She says it's because I prefer guys' clothes and have masculine traits, that I'm a trans guy in denial. I also have a lot of transgender friends. I've thought about the possibility, but come to accept that I like being a butch woman. I don't want a male name or pronouns. Sorry, hiccups. Whenever I get misgendered, it bothers me. I like being a woman who loves women. I've told her this, and she sometimes still misgenders me or talks to me about me being an egg. I think it's because she really wants to have another trans friend, but I feel like she isn't really respecting my decision or identity. So I have to ask, Matt, is egg a term you've ever come across here?
Cannot say it is.
Because from context, it sounds like a trans person who's reluctant to come out of the shell.
Oh, okay. So because shell. That's dumb.
Yeah.
It's real fucking dumb. And also your friend's an asshole. Like, it's so funny, right? Because so much of the queer community is this, like, we can be whoever the hell we want to be, and we don't have to explain to anybody. But then in the queer community, you can also be more or less gay than someone. You can be more or less trans than someone. And it's like...
Oh, you know what's better story you just reminded me of? The guy who's, like, excluding himself because he doesn't like RuPaul or drag queens. And so, like, he was at a party and every so often would just go, work.
Wait, he would just go, what?
Just say work, as in, like, work it or something like that.
Yeah, WERK. It's like a RuPaul term.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Why?
I didn't know.
What was the point of that?
Because he was at a party, but he doesn't care about drag queen shows that much.
And I guess, like, everybody was talking about drag shows, and then they would just, like, look over at this guy who has no fucking opinions on this one way or another, and he's just like, work?
The story was just like, I'm not gay enough for the gays, or something like that.
Yeah.
I should have found that one. That
would have been great. Yeah, your friend's a dick.
Your friend's stupid, dumb, and a good example of what people try and say when they say you're converting somebody to your way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know, these people are very few and far between, but obviously there are some that exist. I wish I could say no, but there are.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like how I said before, entitled queers. Where
if you can think it, somebody exists.
There's, homophobes out there try to act like, oh, all the gay people, they just want everybody to kowtow to them and do everything they want. And it's like, no. But also, yes, there are some gay people who are like that. Just like not everybody in the South that has sex with their family members, but you'd have to get your dick out of your sister's mouth in order for you to hear me say that. So...
Are you drinking?
God damn it, Raven, why? You have me, Matt, and Glitcher here. We are three of the most unhinged people in this Discord.
I regret nothing. Welcome back, Raven.
I don't think Raven's done choking.
Z thinks that story is tomboy equals trans.
Honestly, yeah, I'd agree with that.
And but of course, you can't be a tomboy, right? Because you have to be trans. But no,
yeah, exactly.
Off.
And unfortunately, I hate that it's being perpetrated by a member of the LGBT community. Like, obviously, it's not cool if anyone does it, but especially, like, this person should know better.
Like, you don't have to be labeled as anything. You can do whatever you want, be whatever you want, and not be labeled for shit.
God damn it, trans person. You were supposed to bring balance to the queers, not destroy them.
What the fuck?
It's a Star Wars reference.
How have you played all of the Lego Star Wars games and not known that? Did they not?
I haven't played all of them.
Oh, I thought you did. My bad.
No, also... I played up to 3.
Oh, well, yeah, you have to play all of them, man.
Also, I will say, Panda, that the Lego games very specifically don't have voice acting.
Not
The Lego Star
in
Wars
the
don't.
old games. The new ones they do.
I will return. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, no further questions, Your Honor. Just, you know, if you're out there and you're listening to this, be a good gay.
Or trans, because this is
Or
an
trans.
MTF.
Well, yes, but, you know,
Uh,
gay has become the kind of umbrella term. I guess it's queer. Be a good queer.
This first comment summed up a lot of what I wanted to say, too, when I first read this. She's projecting her stuff onto you by the sounds of it. You know who you are, and even if you ever doubt who you are, it's not up to someone else to tell you. This was 100% projection, in my eyes.
Yes.
Your friend is a disrespectful ass. How would they like it if you refuse to acknowledge them in the correct manner? Time to lay down some boundaries. Her options are stop calling you an egg or get out. Yeah.
Agreed.
Straight up, tell her to stop denying your gender identity and validate her own. Yeah. I'm the term when I first read this title, it was the funniest thing to me too. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
Alright. Wife and I just had a huge fight about homosexuality. The username is unfortunately deleted, so I couldn't check their profile for this one.
Looking forward to it. Let's go.
I just created this account the other day, so I'm sure this will get removed, but I want to vent for a second. We were at my mom's this weekend, and my wife got a message from her sister about the new Buzz Lightyear movie. Apparently there's a scene where two women kiss. My wife was explaining this to my mom, and I and she were huffing and puffing about it not being right. Oh, to my mom and she was huffing and puffing about it not being right and not something she wants our kids seeing. She looked to me for approval, and I didn't give her any. I just said I don't care. It doesn't bother me what other people do. And if it's in a kid's movie, it's no big deal. Well, this didn't go well with my wife, and she said we needed to have a talk about my opinions on these matters. We drove home today in silence. I didn't like the way she talked to me in front of my mom. That's more of a personal conversation thing. When we got home, things were cold between us, and finally, once the kids were in bed, we started talking. I told her that I didn't appreciate the way she talked to me in front of my family, and it was weirder that she was upset about. Sorry, I lost my place. That she was upset that I didn't want to raise our kids to be intolerant. This pissed her off. She was born and raised in the South by very conservative Christian parents, and her opinions on homosexuality are it doesn't matter what someone does with their life as long as she doesn't have to see it. I was raised different. I told her I wasn't going to teach our boys to treat people different because they do things different than us. We rarely fight or argue, which is why this got heated so quick. Lots of stuff stays bottled up. That's on me, really. I suck at talking out loud. It's easier for my head. It's easier in my head, and then I let things go. But I didn't want to let this go. I'm not going to let my kids turn into her family. I refuse. If they disagree with something, that's fine. They're allowed to. But I will not teach them to treat some people differently. She got super mad and rushed me, trying to push me out of the room. She's never done that. I just stared her down, finally walked out, and went to the basement where I am now. Not really looking for advice, just wanted to vent and think of ways to handle tomorrow. Edit. Thanks for the responses, guys. Yes, this is something we've talked about before. We've been married for 11 years, and honestly, I used to be pretty conservative. I found homosexuality gross and didn't want to see it around me. But as the years have gone on, I've softened that view, and it really doesn't bother me anymore. Having kids actually changed a lot of my views because I couldn't be selfish anymore. I want my kids to be raised well, and if they come to me with a problem, I want them to know that I will listen to them and support them. I don't ever want them to feel like they have to hide their thoughts or opinions because mom and dad don't like gays. I want them to grow up accepting of other people. Edit 2, hey everyone, I never expected this to get so much attention. I want to thank you all for the comments and support. It's even funny watching the people that disagree get shredded in the comments. That's been fun to watch at work today, haha. I think my favorite was people that think homosexuality is wrong can fuck right off. It was short and succinct, just beautiful, lol. I'm definitely going to have further conversations with my wife on the subject. You've given me some great things to think about. I'm still of the opinion that regardless of her thoughts and feelings on the subject, I'm going to make sure that my kids that my kids know there's nothing wrong with being who they are or being friends with people who are different than them. This post has given me such encouragement that I want to thank you all for that. P.S. For all the folks that have told me their struggles in dealing with friends and family, whether you're gay, lesbian, trans, or anything else, I just want to say thank you for being strong. Know that there's people out there who will give you support even if they don't know you. You all have value, and that value is determined by you, not someone who thinks they can judge you. It's always possible that negative people can change. I'm one of them. But even if they don't, just keep being unapologetically and unabashedly you, because you are so worth it.
I'm just going to say at the very end there, it turned into a L'Oreal advert.
What?
Yeah, it turned into an advert at that point.
It turned into a L'Oreal advert.
There's a shampoo advert that ends
with sorry.
Because you're worth it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I do want to start off by saying, first of all, good on this guy for recognizing that he needed to change. And also, I do really appreciate... whatever your view on this, I do really appreciate the sentiment of I can't be selfish anymore because of kids. I have kids now. Whether you think that extends to homophobia or not, like, even still, like, I see a lot of Reddit parents not realize that.
Yeah. It is, it's really sad who this woman is. And right at the end there, it turned into, like, physical abuse.
Yeah, that was kind of what surprised me.
Like, that's assault. And the fact that she's going to be continuing to teach her kids that, like, not only is it good to hate on gay people, but also, you know, if your partner disagrees with you, just rush them. This is a terrible human being, and it harkens back to what I said before. It does not take skill to have a child.
It takes skill to turn him into a decent human.
Yes, it takes skill to parent. But you were just a vessel by which this child came into the world.
I'll also be honest, when I first read this, a small part of me was thinking, is this fake? Just because the whole, like, Buzz Lightyear thing of it all felt like such a common, like so textbook conservative stuff, right? You know, the whole, like, it shouldn't be in a kid's movie stuff of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt ever so slightly just, maybe this could be fake.
But again, I bet you that this parent allowed them to watch tons and tons of movies with heterosexual couples kissing.
Oh, for sure.
So, put your head in a fucking sink drain and flip the switch. Ooh, there's a cherry festival.
Huh? Anyone have anything else to add? I do really like that this guy does kind of self-report too about formerly being homophobic too. Like, I appreciate that a lot.
Like, we love someone who used to be an asshole and is no longer an asshole.
We did brush past this line. I suck at talking out loud. It's easier in my head and then I let things go, but I didn't want to let this go. I resonated with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
By Beth Biscuit, Be the Biscuit. I love this unit. Why do... This was the wrong takeaway. This was the wrong takeaway. I like your edit. Personal growth is something you can always be proud of. I hope your wife eventually grows as a person as well. Always, although it doesn't seem like it was planning to anytime soon. You are a good dad. I think about it sometimes. If our kids grow up in this confusing world and question themselves, I don't want to be a parent who raises my beautiful, perfect child to grow up and say, that isn't what is expected of me. I am unacceptable. I'm on this hill with you. I'm even more concerned that she attacked you physically than I am about her hateful views about gay people. Yeah, going med said, I feel this was very much brushed past in this entire thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, your partner doesn't want to agree with you. Physically rush them.
Yeah, 3-point stance, full football tackle.
Meanwhile, I get not to get too like man vs women, but obviously there are certain changes, right? If this was a guy who did this, oh, he would have been out of that house so quickly.
Instant shredded. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The thing is, though, I could see that like the thing that Med said there as the 3-point tackle, like in a dark comedy from like the late 90s, early 90s, that actually being a thing that happens. Like one of the characters just drops down into the 3-point stance to tackle their significant other.
Just full fucking Goldberg spear. You just hear gore.
All right. The next one, I won't lie, we're gonna get to a bit of a patch that I want to put towards the end of like slightly heavier stories, unfortunately. So be prepared, right?
I shall be.
I am probably trans and never coming out.
Yep.
I am an adult man, but frequently since I was in high school, I have thought about being a lady. I am probably never going to go through with it. I know my friends, family, and girlfriend would support me, but I still can't do it. I just already feel disgusting about who I am currently, and I don't think I would be able to cope with society seeing me like that. I feel more mentally unwell than usual lately, which is something I have struggled with for a long time. And right now, all my usual hobbies like art and video games don't feel like they make me happy anymore. I still like to dress up my characters and think about how happy it would be it would make me to be able to do that in real life. I buy clothes like it, but I end up sad whenever I try them on because I still have to wear my body and face that I hate. Sorry, Z was typing in my chat. At work, I am enamored by all my female coworkers, not romantically as I love my girlfriend more than anything, just about how they look and how they dress and how they do their hair. I don't know, I just feel like I will never experience the life I wish I had. I think I've accepted it, even if I'm not okay with it. I will say right off the bat, you have not accepted it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing the whole, like, Disney princess sitting by the window and dreaming of having the better life, you definitely haven't accepted it. But, man, gender dysphoria is a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. And there's a long and arduous process that can be taken to fix that. It won't be overnight. But if you're just like, I'm never going to do that, then yeah, your gender dysphoria is never going to go away. No one's going to help you but you.
I will say real quick, Z made a somewhat interesting point of I'm trans and never coming out proceeds to come out on Reddit.
Throwaway account?
I don't remember for this one. Let me... it seems like it, yeah.
So, I would say that this is still not coming out because no one knows who the person is.
Yeah. One thing I will say too, and obviously, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard stories of people who are trans but just don't plan to transition ever.
Yeah, that happens. It's either they don't want to transition. It could be like fear of surgery. Could be
cost is a huge aspect of it, I'm sure, because isn't like
cost is huge.
Isn't like 40 to 60K in some countries?
I have no idea because in Canada there are certain trans clinics who will fund it for you.
Oh, that's nice.
Or at least like a very large portion of it. So, yeah, I'm proud to live in the country that I'm in, but I understand that most of these are probably coming from the United States, although we've read a lot of European stories today.
Yeah, we've had a good mix, in my opinion, of what I think are European and US. Unfortunately, I couldn't find much from Canada. I knew you signed up, but, I hate to say it, there's only so much effort I'm going to put in digging into these two, right?
Oh, fair, and also, it maybe stands to reason that we might not have a lot. We may not have as many problems as you guys.
I mean, the U.S., sure. The Netherlands, I was surprised to get one from.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, going to what this person's saying, I struggle a little bit just to comprehend this too, because it's like, I'm pretty sure my friends, my family, a lot of people I know would accept me, but I still don't want to come out. I'm just confused by the notion, personally, right?
Yeah. It's like, if everybody would accept you, and it sounds like you don't accept you?
He has no confidence in himself.
Well, herself, technically.
Herself, I guess.
Yeah, I guess she hasn't officially said she's trans, but, she's pretty heavily implied, right?
Yeah.
I think the big thing in my head here is maybe it's just, a thing of I don't want them to look at me differently. Which, I guess that's their decision, right? But I'll admit, I'm struggling to find the reason for it, except for, an appearance thing. Because if everyone would accept her...
Then, what's your issue?
Yeah. What is the hold up?
that the person has no confidence in themselves. That seems to be the issue.
Yeah, probably.
At least to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I smell a lot of dumb. Just like if you're trans, then hey, you want to be happy? Then work on the shit to make you happy, because one of the harsh, cruel realities of our world is a lot like people are not going to be mind readers, and people are not going to, you know, just do everything for you.
Yeah.
And you need to work on you, fam. Fuck all people.
The bisexual motto.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Yeah, there's not really a lot more to say on this, but there is an update slash repost kind of situation.
Okay.
It was 3 days after. I didn't realize how fresh this one was. 8 days ago and 5 days ago. I didn't realize how fresh this one was.
Oh, damn.
On r/transgender, the same person asked, does it ever get easier to just ignore it? Oh, did you guys want to read any comments on the other one first?
Yeah, I mean, if we've got some comments on what's rocking.
Hey there. First of all, it takes a lot of courage and strength to post this, so kudos to you. I'm sorry you're struggling. What do you think would help you feel more positive? Have you considered talking to a trans-friendly therapist who can better support you? I saw a therapist with some other mental health issues earlier this year a few times. It was hard enough talking about that, and even to write this post. I don't know when it would be. Well, sorry. I don't know when it would be an expense I can afford too, but that is probably a good idea.
Yeah, see, it's again another like there's a bit of a cost issue here.
Yeah. I can't blame you. I transitioned to 8 years ago and wish I hadn't. I'm not a fan of how approximately 80% of people hate me and wish me dead. I feel that's high for most countries. Sorry, that's not the right thing to focus on, I know. Not to mention all this shit that came with my transition. Loss of friends, family, sense of self. I know a few happy people that are glad they transitioned. I also know a few more that really struggle with what I mentioned. Ultimately, do what makes you happy. If you have a great support system, it can be an amazing journey, but when you don't, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, but the problem is this person talked about having a great support system.
Yeah, they quite literally said, I'm probably I know my friends, family, and girlfriend would support me. Like, it sounds like maybe they would lose like one or two people, but by and large, they would keep the majority of their support system.
Right.
Anyway, does it ever get easier to just ignore it? Every few months, something sets me off, and I can't think about it for. Wait. And all I can think about for a week is being a girl. I found some drawings a few days ago from when I was in high school of what I wished I looked like. It's gotten really bad before, every couple of years, and I'm worried that's happening now. I am openly bi, I have queer friends, and I have family that would support me. I live in a relatively progressive country, but I just can't do anything about it. I don't think it would make me any happier. I always just ignore the feeling, maybe besides some small private creative outlet or something, until it goes away. Can I just ignore it? Does it stop for good if I keep ignoring it long enough? No.
No.
that's just making it worse on yourself.
I'm also trying to figure out a little bit of what country this might be. The issue is they've avoided all the words that are like OUR in British or Canadian English.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Like, this is just kind of ridiculous at this point. Like,
this feels like a self-inflicted saw trap.
Right. Like, does this person just want us to feel bad for them?
Part of me, and I hate to say it, did consider when reading this initially, by the way, if this could be like an alt because they're trying to get a little bit of like attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it makes incredible sense because there's no logic to this post. And I get that, like, I'm a person that tries to see logic in everything, and maybe this is just like a sense of emotion that I just don't understand. But you have a support system, you have everything good, or you have things that, like, people who are transitioning don't have. You're in the best position of your life to transition, but it seems like you want to hate yourself.
The going back to the other post, that one comment that mentioned the cost of therapy being too much, I'm thinking it is a country where, like, yeah, it's progressive, but they don't have, like, the same thing you talked about for Canada, the ones that will help fund the transition.
But why not at least, like,
out.
socially?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have people in your life, according to your own post, that, like, would hate it. You're the only one that hates this, and you're it.
I'm going back to what I was saying before. I think it's just like a social thing. You know, there's people who worry a lot about, like, their public image. That's where my brain keeps going to with this one. That's the only, like, somewhat logical sense I can think about.
I mean, yeah, the whole world isn't going to like you, but it seems like the people that you actually give a shit about give a shit about you. So, I don't know, fucking enjoy the fact that you're in, like, a really good position and that you can do this. Yeah, this makes no sense to me. Obviously, I think we're missing context. We're missing something.
We probably are, yeah.
Because the math ain't mathin'. Like, are you reading, like, a bunch of horror stories on the internet about, like, trans people being attacked or assaulted?
Yeah, that could be. Well, I'm also wondering, too, I think they mentioned they come from a relatively progressive country. I won't lie, for a little while I was thinking, well, like, could they be coming from a more liberal portion of the U.S., like New York or Massachusetts, where it's a little more acceptable, right?
Yeah.
Where was that comment? Was it over? I don't remember. Yeah, I feel bad for them, but I will say too, it sounds very self-inflicted. Which, I'm sorry if that sounds like victim blaming at all, but, like, we've hopped on a little bit. It sounds like there's no issue if they came out.
Yeah. If there is and we're missing something, you gotta kind of put that in your post. But if we're going based off the information that OP is giving us, like, it just sounds like you're making life harder for yourself for no reason.
Yeah. Alright, on to the next one. Am I the asshole for telling my husband our son was gay?
Ooh. we did just a little bit earlier talk about outing someone.
That's why I put these in the order I did. At least those two specifically. I very much curated the order to spread out, like, so it wasn't all like the gay stuff, then the trans stuff, like that. But also, I thought this one coming after the other one will be fun.
Yeah.
Real quick, does anyone want to make a prediction?
Sounds like the son probably came out to the mom, and she took it upon herself to tell the dad before he was ready.
So yes, in your case? Yes, the asshole?
Yes, the asshole.
If you out anyone's sexuality without their permission, you're an asshole, to my opinion.
I will say, when I first read this, I thought, yes, the asshole. Afterwards, I was very torn. I'm gonna say that.
Oh, okay.
I, 32F, caught my son, 15M, cuddling with his friend, also 15M, while they were sleeping in their room. I decided not to wake them up, and I discussed it with my husband, 34M, and the possibility that our son might be gay came up. While I initially agreed with my husband's suggestion to approach our son after his friend leaves, I later decided that we should just wait until our son was comfortable sharing this with us. My husband argued, saying what if he never tells us that he's gay? I told my husband then if he doesn't tell us that he's gay, then he's probably not. I told him that we should just let our son know that we'll love him regardless and leave it at that. However, my husband went against our agreement and questioned our son about his sexual orientation while I was driving my son's friend home. When I returned home, I discovered my son in tears, yelling and accusing me of outing him. I am confused and told my son that I didn't know what he was talking about. My son told me while he was crying that his father revealed what I saw and basically coerced him into coming out before he was ready. My son asked me why would I tell his father and why would I enter his room without his permission. I started crying and told my son that I was so sorry, that I loved him and accept him no matter what. My son remained distant and is now refusing to speak to me and his father. When I confronted my husband, I told him that I was angry and that he threw me under the bus. I mean, he did.
Yep. That's true.
He claimed he didn't mean any harm. Sure didn't.
Lies.
I only shared what I mentioned to our son, hoping it'll make him comfortable about coming out to us. Despite his pleas for forgiveness, I can't help but feel anger towards him, knowing my son is now feeling hatred for me of something that I actively tried to prevent. My husband argues that blaming him for our son's emotions is unfair, the emotions you inflicted, and told me our son is only going through an emotional phase that will pass. Despite him begging for my son and my forgiveness, telling us that he meant no harm, I'm torn between forgiving him because I blame him for causing. Oh, okay. So she's torn on whether or not to forgive him because I blame him for causing our son to be angry with me.
I don't think she should forgive the dad.
ETA.
Yes.
I don't know why she used the phrase ETA here. It's more like an edit to add some information here. I entered my son's room because I was doing laundry and planning on washing my son's clothes. I did not to see if they were awake and waited for a response, and when I got no response, I entered. I only usually do this when I plan on washing clothes, as I like to do it early in the morning. I've been doing this since my son was 12, and he told me he didn't mind it because he would wake up with clean clothes. When I saw my son and his friend cuddling, I immediately walked out of his room and shut the door. I was thinking straight. I wasn't thinking straight and should have waited for his friend to leave. Sorry for not mentioning this before. So my big thing here, I don't. I have a lot of qualms with most people in this story, right? And I hate to say it, somewhat including the son, but he's by and far the most, like, I'll let it pass, right?
Oh, he's 15.
Yeah.
The dude is, like, super emotional, and he thinks that the world is ending, and, like,
Yeah.
he'll get the fuck over it.
That's why I'm willing to let it pass. What I don't like, based on how she's telling the story, we have to go off of what she's saying, too, right? It's a Reddit story.
Right.
We don't have the full story. I don't like that it appears that the dad confronts the son. It seems, while she's out taking the friend home, the son starts getting upset, and the dad immediately says, well, your mother saw. Like, you are completely ignoring the fact that she told you not to say anything. You were apparently bad enough where your son felt coerced or threatened in a way to have to tell you. Like,
yeah, so the dad is a unredeemable dick in this particular scenario. Right? You not only betrayed your son's trust, you betrayed your wife's trust. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The one thing I will say, he keeps saying he meant no harm. I meant no harm. You sound like you, like, threatened your son almost.
Right. Like, this is some horse shit. Where it's like, what did you mean? What did you expect was coming out of that?
Like, I'll say this. There are times when, like, I'll try and tell a bad joke, and I acknowledge it doesn't always work out, but because there are people who, like, try and say, like, racist shit and then backtrack on, oh, it was a joke, like, some people don't always believe me when it's genuinely just a joke that doesn't land, right? This feels like what this guy's doing. Oh, it was a joke. I meant no harm. No. You actively threw your wife under the bus and tortured your son in a weird way.
Which is funny, because it seems like when it went sideways, it was like, well, your mother told me. And then he's like, well, why did you even come into my... Because you're 15. You don't own anything. You are in your parents' house.
I will also say, too, even ignoring that, she's done this for 3+ years now with his consent.
Right.
So you want to ask, why would she do this? You know this arrangement.
And it's not like she fucking not like she woke both of you up with an electrified cane or something. Like, very clearly, if your mom was like, oh, I went in, I saw you guys, and I left, like, put 2 and 2 together, little twat.
The other thing,
she doesn't care that you're gay.
The other thing, he didn't lock the door or anything, or, like, ask them not to come in.
Right, well, I mean, I guess if he asked them not to come in, that would be, like, a dead giveaway that he's getting a reach around, right? But fucking...
But there seems to be a lot of trust between this kid and his parents. At least there was.
Just like, Mother, I'm going in my room with Joey. Do not disturb us.
Why did you give him a lisp?
Why do you think I gave him a lisp? Yeah, like, it's clear that your mom was super cool about this. And then your dad was like...
a dick.
Tell me about the gay.
The thing, too, like... this is kind of what especially makes this problematic to me. The dad turned him against a parent that was, like, really cool with it. Like, whether or not she's to blame... Because, like, yeah, maybe she shouldn't have said it, but she did actively realize, like, okay, we shouldn't confront him. But, like, this feels, like, borderline psychopath, in my opinion.
It also comes to me, like, toxic masculinity.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Where you're like, sorry, woman, You do not make the rules around here. I choose when I interrogate my queer son.
The other thing, too, is he did actively lie. Like, okay, well, wait. He immediately just starts asking you as soon as she leaves to take that kid away. Because how far do you think that kid lives? Maybe 10 minutes round trip?
Like, yeah.
He did not hesitate. It wasn't even like the next day.
Oh, God, no. He went out of the room and immediately the Pink Panther music started playing. Like, he just immediately looked at the camera and went, little does she know. I plan on going to him right now.
It's like, you ask your friend, okay, don't tell anyone. You're like, okay, sure. Opens the door. Hey, guys, guess what I just found out?
Like, they're already texting their best friend, like, on their phone, as they're speaking. It's like, I won't tell anybody. Now just speak closer to the phone and don't mind the text-to-speech being on. Oh, man.
Okay, but ignoring the... I hate to say it, monster? That's the dad? At least potential monster.
Is the woman, the lady, the mother, is she an asshole?
I was very torn on this one, because, like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have told the dad, but also, it's fair to be, like, in a moment of uncertainty and confusion, like, hey, what's going on here? Right?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say no.
One thing I do want to add, too, like, the only way I can really see saving the relationship with the son is telling him this. Like, this is one position where it's like, why are you talking on Reddit about this? You should be talking with your son.
Yeah.
And yes, I know why she's talking on Reddit. It's important to get perspective. But, yeah, like...
But also, do you not have any friends?
Also, and this is the cynical side of me, but it's for that sweet, sweet Reddit karma.
Oh, yeah.
That is entirely the cynical side of me speaking there.
Glitch, are you going to say something?
No.
My bad.
The minute I heard Reddit karma, I'm like, when does karma not exist in Reddit? Nothing in Reddit here.
Oh, it's also, that's what it's called in Reddit when you have, like, a popularity score. It's called karma. So it's like they're trying to increase their Reddit level.
There are also some Reddit subreddits that you can't like post on if you don't have enough karma, apparently. I know because I tried posting with an alt account that had no karma.
Oh, shit.
Dad's a dick. Mother's...
Dad also has a dick.
Mother's relatively innocent. Maybe should have given, like, another 5 minutes of thought to it. That's all I can really say to that.
Yeah, I also don't think that she did what she thought she did. She was like, I told my husband that he was gay. It's like, no. You told him that he was...
cuddling a dude.
That he could be gay. And, like, that's fine, because, you trusted your husband, your partner, this child's father, and you're like, okay, how do we want to approach this in a way that is, sensitive and considers his feelings?
And the husband went, me man ape, me do it my way.
This was one. I forgot this happened. Sausage Fest is apparently a mod for Am I the Asshole, and they had to lock this thread due to an excess of rule violations.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Oh, you got me a little bit there with the fucking me man ape.
Me man ape.
It just made me think of the joke from Whose Line Is It Anyway, with Wayne Brady coming out and being like, Mabutu like virgin.
But yeah, like, again, Dude waited all of 2 seconds when she left the house.
Yeah.
Not the asshole. Yeah, your husband screwed the pooch big time. You're suggesting to wait until your son was comfortable with coming out on his own was, in his own way, was of course the correct one. Your husband, despite your pleas of innocence, betrayed your trust and your son's privacy. He has created a terrible rift in your family, and it is he that has to fix it between you and your son. He created this mess, and he needs to clean it up. You need to go to your husband, and this is with this, and it doesn't. If he doesn't straighten it out right now, he will be spending a lot of cold nights this winter. Somebody said everyone sucks here. Oh yeah, because she didn't knock, but then she gave that edit probably, right?
Yeah.
Edit to add. Okay, so he trusted you coming after knocking. If he didn't answer before this, I would start waiting for an answer before after knocking from now on, just to rebuild the trust if it can be rebuilt. Yeah, that's fair. Secondly, if you didn't want to be Secondly, if you didn't want to confront him till he found courage to tell you guys yourself, why tell your husband? Why not? Well, to be fair, she had that epiphany after. I'm going to be honest, this is too long of one for me to want to read, just because we are a little pressed for time and have 2 more stories I want to get to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Your husband's a meddling drama dick. Not the asshole would have been avoided if your husband had put his ego aside and let you lead on this one. Now you'll have to be even more patient with your son, which is fine, just could have been avoided. And we'll have to build his trust back even though you were actively trying to keep it. Yeah. Your husband stinks. Yeah. No,
yeah.
This looks pretty unanimously. The husband's the one that fucked up.
Yeah. He betrayed everyone's trust.
Including the Whiffy.
I vote chemical castration for this guy.
Ooh, the old Joker ball dip.
All right.
About Joker getting bald?
This was probably my favorite story to read personally. Cause
is this going to be our last one?
No, second to last.
Oh, okay.
Z votes turn him into a skin suit.
Z, you need to talk to people about these skin suit ideas that you're having.
I also read this title out loud to Scylla because I just love it. Am I the asshole for turning my cousin gay and then everyone against each other?
Oh god.
What is... like the fucking queer Infinity War?
This read like such mastermind bullshit, and it really wasn't.
Oh my god, I know I'm gonna be disappointed now. Because I'm just thinking of, like, the gayest Bond villain I've ever heard of.
Z says Sweet Home Alabama, the OP's a woman.
Look, I once dated a girl who had a sexual relationship with her brother. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, so... Let me read this story and you'll understand why I say Z is incorrect, okay?
Okay.
I, 20F, started a huge misunderstanding in my family over something that happened years ago. It all started 5 years ago when I was 15 and was staying in the countryside with my aunt and her son for summer break. For context, my aunt hates gay people. Not just that, it is a sin in our religion, but being homophobic was also her entire personality. And it wasn't just her. Everyone in that place despised gay people. Now at the time I had a girlfriend, let's call her April, April was around my age and also came from homophobic parents. And surprise, surprise, my cousin, who was 18 then, let's call him Sam, also had a boyfriend. Sam and I never told anyone about our relationship. However, as teenagers, we wanted to spend time with our partners, but couldn't do that due to the homophobia. So we decided to troll everyone. I pretended that Sam's BF was my BF, and he pretended that April was his GF. Everyone believed this. So whenever I was with April outside, it would be like, oh, yo, that's my cousin's girl. The best part was that when one of our parents stayed over, they ended up sharing rooms with the person they were actually dating. For example, if I brought my BF home, he stayed the night. My aunt would make him share rooms with Sam. Likewise, whenever Sam brought April home, she would be in my room. Genius, I know, and nobody figured it out until 2 days ago. My aunt called me and unleashed a barrage of insults. She used every slur you could ever imagine. Turns out Sam invited her to his wedding. He is marrying the same guy from 5 years ago. She accused me of turning her, quotation marks, God-loving Christian son into a sinful man, end quotation marks. This couldn't be my fault because Sam and his BF were already together before I arrived. Anyways, she thinks I'm the one who turned her son gay. That it is because of me that Sam and his BF did sleep together and then they became gay. I don't understand too, I'm sorry. After she hung up, I started getting calls from my relatives. All of them insulted me. They blocked me on everything. Then after that, they called my mom and insulted her as well. My mom was confused as to what was going on. She asked me what happened and I ended up telling her everything. I've never told her how I spent that summer before this. The thing that she focused on was that back when I was pretending that Sam's BF was my BF, he was 19 and I was 15. My mom...
Oh!
Yeah, no, that when I read this, did a double take on that, and I was waiting to see if that came back up.
Huh.
Oh, no.
How much of this have you heard, Scylla?
I heard all of it.
Okay. My mom lost it when she found out that my aunt was actually okay with me dating someone that was way older than me when I was 15. And my aunt didn't even bother to call her and tell her that. My mom started calling my relatives and then screaming at them. Some of them took my aunt's side and some my mom's side. And now arguing with each other through the phone as I am writing this down. Sam called and apologized for the way his mom acted. He said that she is crazy and that he had cut her off after what happened. So am I the asshole? Real quick, Scylla, this was the one I read to you, the title being, am I the asshole for turning my cousin gay and then everyone against each other?
Huh.
Update, because a lot is going on. My aunt and two of my uncles showed up at our house last night. I have no idea how that happened, but she ended up reading this post and she asked me to delete it immediately because people were being mean to her in the comments.
Well, yeah, rightfully so.
You're being actively homophobic. She didn't like the way y'all were making fun of her.
Oh no.
She said that I was only telling my side of the story and not the full picture, which in her words includes, quote, me implanting woke ideologies into her son's head whenever we were alone, me being a bad influence on him because I didn't grow up religiously like the rest, and me making him miss church service. Parentheses, he didn't go to church one Sunday because I was sick and somebody had to stay home with me, etc. Was what made him gay, end quote. She said that in the she said that the comments were villainizing her for no reason. You are a total narcissist.
She's out of her mind.
You're an evil, evil woman.
Were villainizing her for no reason, and also the comments that were saying, quote, you can't turn someone gay, end quote, were all wrong because, quote, Sam and I and everyone else did in fact become gay because we were exposed to the evils of the new world. That line got me the first time because evils of the new world is... What?
That's
evils of the new world.
She's a time traveler from colonial times then.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was on the Santa Maria.
This crazy bitch.
There's more.
Oh no.
There's more. I'm gonna be honest. I just remembered too. The grandma gets involved in the best way, in my opinion.
Let's do it.
She then started crying, and one of her uncles started yelling at me for breaking the family apart. Mom ended up threatening that she's going to call the cops if they don't leave. To which 30 minutes later, they were all gone.
Who?
The mom ended up threatening to call the cops on the aunt and two uncles that showed up at their house.
Okay.
Z just says, "Don't bring Granny into it." What made the situation worse is the fact that my grandmother is on my side when she was supposed to be on my aunt's side. That was in parentheses. Grandma even ended up buying me a Lady Gaga album because she heard people in the LGBTQ community like Lady Gaga.
Aww, that's so cute.
Yo, I fucking love that.
I will say, going back to Smosh's Reddit stories, this reminded me of the time where the dad bought his son rainbow socks when he found out he was gay from the prostitute.
Aww.
I love how Scylla
telling me about that.
I love how Scylla ignored the portion of it that was by the prostitute.
Yeah.
By what prostitute? What?
The dad hired a prostitute for the son in that story.
Hired a prostitute for the son.
For the son.
Oh, the son, not the sock. I was like, the sock got a prostitute?
Alright.
Yep, the sock got a prostitute.
Back to the story. She also she also said it was fine if I can't have kids because, quote, she has 7 children and look how they all turned out. And
oh
quote,
my god.
Oh!
Go Granny!
Love the Granny!
Savage grandma!
I know I shouldn't need anyone's opinion, but I have always loved my grandma and her approval means the world to me. Sam's fiance filed for a restraining order against my uncle and my aunt. Looks like he is having it worse than me. And Sam's dad, my aunt's ex-husband, decided to involve himself into the chaos by offering to pay for half of the wedding expenses. I have a feeling that he probably just wants to piss off my aunt even more since he has a very bad relationship with the family for a long time, and he has taken every opportunity possible to get on everyone's nose. Parentheses, but it could just be me. So there you have it. My mom, Sam, grandma, and my other kind aunt, another kind aunt of mine, are the only people from my family that are on my contacts right now, I think is what she's meant to put. From title to finish, that story was wild, in my opinion.
What the hell did I just hear today?
Very funny common trope in LGBT films.
The evil of the new world.
Oh my god.
Let's play the game. Were you on the I'm sorry, I can't even remember the boat Columbus came on after that. Were you on the...
You were the Mayflower?
No, the Pinto, the Santa Maria. Raven, do you remember the third boat?
The Columbus ships.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, no.
It's just a matter of
the Nina.
The Nina, the Pinto, and the Santa Maria. Which one did you come over on? Can we also talk about how this is clearly probably the South, because she said y'all a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And this reads so Southern. The grandma getting involved was funny as hell. And I love the the petty ex-husband. That's like, yeah, let me pay for half the wedding just to piss off my ex.
Love it.
My favorite thing. The grandma saying that she had 7 different children and see how they turned out.
Yeah. I am curious though, that's kind of a bone at OP's mom though, isn't it? Maybe her dad. It's not actually specified which, but...
she's probably saying that about the aunt.
Yeah, fair. And the 2 uncles that decided to kill
her.
Yeah, exactly. She's basically just saying, like, you know, they all didn't show up pretty great, did they?
I love this story. Still, I can tell you, I lost my shit at this title.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Oh, the title was amazing.
And then this whole thing just... It delivered what it promised.
Yeah? I mean, guess what, bitch? The gays win again.
And not only did they win, they somehow managed to enter the new world. And...
Yeah. We infected them with thoughts of the new world.
My favorite thing, real quick, is, like, take out the old world new thing from old world new world from the humanity. Like, they went to a different planet and came back more socially accepting.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, they have some kind of, like, Stargate in their backyard that takes you to another planet. Some of the comments that the ant got mad at. Not the asshole. Obviously, you didn't turn your cousin gay. The upside of all of this is that all the homophobes are attacking each other. I love that you've caused confusion among their ranks.
Yes.
That has to be a win for the planet. It was a
Homophobes were confused. They hit themselves in their confusion.
It was a brilliant plan. Hats off to you both for excellent strategy. I can see why your mother was upset about only just now hearing about the supposed older boyfriend. Yeah, again, too. 15 to 19, that's quite an age gap. Like,
that is...
28 to 32 is a lot better. But
then that's still a lot.
Yeah, kind of.
What?
Now hearing about your supposed older boyfriend.
Like 11 years older than you.
What, Eric? Yeah.
I just realized that
a lot of them were older.
I just realized that you didn't say your mother is okay with, is one of the homophobes, but your aunt and all the surrounding people. That was kind of a weirdly phrased sentence. Does your mother know you're gay now? Is she okay with it? I may have unfairly put her in the same category and was reveling in them all getting their knickers in a twist. My mom knew I was into girls when I was 13, crying laughing emoji, and she was okay with it. She didn't tell the rest because she knows how they will react. Not the asshole, but your mom going, "You let my 15-year-old date a 19-year-old down the phone" is my favorite part of this story. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Not the asshole, you guys did your best in the situation, and I'm glad that your mom turned the tables on them. Your aunt is the asshole for not even understanding love and that people can't be turned gay or something. BTW, does your mom accept you, or is she also homophobic? We know how that's going to be answered. One thing I do love, too, the aunt's response was just so fucking unhinged, and I love it. Me implanting woke ideologies into a son's head, me being a bad influence, I didn't grow up religiously like the rest, making him miss church once. Meanwhile, she was sick. The aunt's completely fucking unhinged. I also hate that you can tell she voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, you can tell what?
That she voted for Trump in both years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
You can tell.
The evils of the new world.
Sometimes religion feels like mental illness in various ways.
This is
I just
why I don't
realized- so-
participate in organized religion.
No, that's what Z said.
Z also put something in chat earlier. Isn't that egg story just transphobic itself? The story was literally tomboy equals trans, lol.
Oh yeah, I said that.
How did I just see that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Alright.
See,
So
How
just
dare
in
you.
case that was a little heavy for some people, I did end on what was probably the funniest one in my opinion.
Oh god, I already laughed a lot at this one.
Media turned me asexual.
what the fuck?
Okay.
You know what? Never mind. Proceed.
It's just like, go ahead.
You have my attention. Tell me how the view made you not view.
Oh my god, I just love that. It's
How
like,
does media make you not want the sex?
it's like a fucking, there was like a Family Guy bit where Peter's just like petting, I think it was petting Brian or petting a cat and going like, go ahead.
Proceed.
In media's desperation to brainwash people to pump out more kids, they fill everything with unnecessary sex scenes. They've made them longer, they're showing more nudity, making sounds such as kissing louder, etc. I've watched older movies to compare, and I'm not crazy on this one. It's happening. Media is intentionally making sexual sounds louder on purpose. My theory is because they're trying to make people, quote, in the mood, end quote, so they have sex and make a child. Instead, it's done the complete opposite for me. I would be perfectly fine never having sex for the rest of my life. The idea of anyone touching me or touching anyone else disgusts me now. You might think, quote, that's from the pandemic, end quote. But I was dating during the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, I found sex scenes really annoying. But it didn't interfere with my desire for relationships yet. And they've only become worse and more soft porn like. It's gross trying to just watch a show and having no desire to watch porn, and porn gets thrown in your face. Yes, I skip as much as possible though. For whatever reason, it often ruins the entire show or movie for me.
Get a job, you prude.
I love how much this became just like full conspiracy theorist. I'm not crazy. I've watched the compare.
I watched older movies. Casablanca didn't show this much titty.
I compare Casablanca to Euphoria. The kissing's louder. The kissing's louder.
Of course, the kissing's louder in Euphoria.
I've never seen Euphoria. I just picked.
Have you guys seen this Game of Thrones shit?
Oh, I love Game of Thrones.
I also love the first comment. It immediately referenced what I was going to. Either you watch entirely too much HBO, or you were simply asexual to begin with. No TV shows aren't, checks notes, making kissing louder in a conspiracy to make you horny.
Thank you.
That summed up about 80% of my thoughts on this.
I love that. I just love that there's now like there's an ace person out there who thinks that there's a conspiracy in media that is making people want to fuck.
Z says he said this in your chat, but this is just a reverse Kuma. I think he means Guma.
Yeah.
Who's Kuma or Guma?
Guna.
I don't know.
I misspoke. Guna.
Oh, Gooner.
This
Yes, this is reverse gooning.
Can we also just have to say, if you have to say the phrase "I'm not crazy," you're probably
And you're crazy.
You're crazy. Like, did you say "I'm not crazy" while your eye was twitching? Like,
I also love that comes after I've watched older movies to compare, as if this song has. Oh, Kuma is apparently the OG word for gooning. Kuma is just someone who is very, very obsessed with sex.
Who needs to coom?
I love imagining, like, somebody pulling up something like, I don't know, like My Cousin Vinny, or like fucking 50 First Dates even, and just comparing it to, like, Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah. You're like, well, if you cherry pick your fucking media, then sure.
I'm also gonna say this. There wasn't that many sex scenes before because it was still viewed as a very taboo subject. This guy was just born in the wrong time period.
Also, like, speaking as somebody who watched Game of Thrones with their parents,
Yeah.
I can tell you that none of the Game of Thrones scenes really got me in the hoo-ha, especially considering most of the sex scenes in that were, shall we say, multiple trigger words in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
I know this person didn't cite Game of Thrones specifically, but I'm just like,
no, but like this is definitely like HBO is playing a huge factor in this. This comment.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I wanted to say before I saw this comment, this was just perfect. What the fuck are you talking about? Movies and TV shows with sex are in the extreme minority nowadays. There is no government psyop trying to make you have children with Puritanism is literally on the rise among youth.
Yeah, we've just gone from a world where gay sex is bad to a world where like all sex is bad. Except for if you're on the internet and then you're a gooner. Everybody be gooning.
There is a couple comments that were removed by moderator. I love that. But this wasn't. This was not removed by the moderator, but these were.
Well, yeah, I mean, this person just has a legitimate complaint about, the chemicals in the TV that are turning us all into cougars.
Wait, is the OP just watching hentai? Oh no, the declining birth rates make people horny. He has a point. I find it annoying too. I think it's another symptom of the normalization of porn. I don't like porn and I don't like sex scenes because I don't like watching people have sex. I'm not a voyeur and it feels voyeuristic. Porn brain rot sinking into pop culture everywhere for you. Okay, we found the fellow tinfoil hat wearer.
Yeah, like, you realize that, like, media is not made to make you want to do the thing on media, right?
The media is just there to interest you if you, like,
it's just to tell a story.
The thing is, too, you have to view stuff like, even the big, like, main networks as, like, they're the entertainment industry, right? They're gonna do what they think will make more money.
I love how somebody was just like, is this person just watching hentai? The answer is probably yes.
That was Z in my chat.
Oh, that was Z.
They are up against the porn industry.
Probably yes, and they just don't realize it. They're on Pornhub looking for regular things, and then they're like, "Oh, I found hentai."
They're just going onto Google, typing in like cat girl anime, and then they don't realize they're clicking onto literal porn websites.
They didn't realize they were watching famed hentai Sailor and the Seven Balls. The Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z collaboration hentai that, yes, actually exists.
I was gonna say, does that actually exist? Because,
yeah.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, you can get it on DVD.
Sailor Moon and the 7 Balls.
Wait.
No. Sailor and the 7 Balls, yeah.
Wait, how is this the least liked comment on this thread? Conspiracy theorists always sound so incredibly idiotic when they speak.
Yeah. Yes, they do. That's incredible.
These two were good choices to end on.
Absolutely, yes. There was the great evil one that turned the sun gay.
And then the whole family against each other. Homophobe turned on homophobe.
Yes, and then they went on to control the media and make everyone want to fuck.
To have children, I should say.
Or to have children, yes.
Oh, God.
Oh, then I can't do that because they're
Really
gay.
badly handled.
I mean, Z in my chat again. I mean, if they were specifically talking about hentai, they would be right. The objective of hentai in some anime a lot of the time is to make it sound more appealing to have a child because of the birth rates. LOL. Yeah, Japan does have a pretty bad birth rate issue.
I mean, there are some animes like that, yes, but that is not the mainstream anime.
Oh, did you hear?
I was gonna say those are the hentais where the main kink is breeding.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Did you hear Japan passed a law cracking down on manga and anime that present having relationships with children as okay?
Oh, that's fucking finally.
Yeah, Japan has a real issue with some of that stuff.
So wait,
So I'm glad.
Panda, how are they gonna? I don't think they're ever gonna be able to continue the Aristocrat one anymore then. Because that was legitimately a 50-year-old elf is with a 12-year-old child.
I don't know what to tell to you.
I don't think they're ever going to continue that now.
Elves get into kind of a weird territory.
It's one of those things where they're kind of being forced into doing it, because I promise you that, like, these are probably the same people that are like, oh my god, these stories are disgusting, that are, like, jerking it to people cosplaying as Misty or Sailor Moon or all the other characters that are 15 years old.
I mean, Misty's 10, isn't she?
She's 12.
I think she's 13, honestly.
But no, the other one that I mentioned, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon's 14. Yeah, it's like people like to have their little, like, oh, it's a drawn character, so it doesn't really matter, you know, unless it does, because it suits me.
It's a matter too of me, like going back to Sailor Moon as a reference, like she's presented so revealingly that, like, yeah, that's kind of the intent they're going for, and, like, yeah, that one probably needed a little more, like, of a touch-up.
I mean, it was also an earlier anime, like,
true, but...
Oh, it's still going on.
Is
and
it?
It's still... Oh, yeah, with Sailor Moon Crystal.
Yeah. Oh, alright.
And people are still cranking one out, and people are still cosplaying as them in their OnlyFans. Like, you guys don't actually have a problem with the ages of the characters. You just want to bitch about something. I would rather that these things exist than people go after real children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's not what this particular stream is about. God, weren't those stories funny? Yeah. Except for the ones that weren't.
The evils of the new world. I think the only one, like, I really felt bad for anybody, well, two, was the one where the mom accidentally outed the son, and the dad was not, like...
Oh, the dad was just a bitch.
At all. Like, the dad was just a total douche. And the one where the trans person's like, I wish I wasn't trans, basically. Because, like, there's no other reason for them not to come out. They said their entire support system, but even still, like, I have to feel a little bad that they're this miserable.
It's their fault, so I can't feel bad.
It kind of is.
It is, but I still don't want anybody to suffer.
No, for sure. I hope that this person comes to grips with their identity and stops making life a miserable place for themselves.
I hope this person here stops reading too much of, like, the fucking Joe Rogan podcast.
I just want to say, I've been seeing this in True Off My Chest thing over and over again. I saw it in the bottom right this whole time. If I hear your future wife will be lucky one more time, I'm gonna fucking snap.
This person should very clearly stop watching the hentai, including ones like the Paulinic Girls Attack.
How long is this one? We don't have time to cover this. Maybe on a future stream.
Yeah, bank that one, and we'll do it.
I want to do these somewhat regularly. I don't know how regularly, because I'm not gonna lie, it's a pain to curate some of these. I want to do an entitled family one, because I've gotten a few stories on, like, my Facebook that they're kind of long, but they're really funny.
Oh, hell yeah.
I remember one time on Twitter, got angry about an 110 demon prostitute and demon slave. They got converted into a demon at 10. What
the fuck am I hearing? Can anybody please explain what I just heard from Panda?
I don't understand what Z's saying.
So Z has put in Japanda's chat. There's a time Twitter got angry over the fact that a 110-year-old demon prostitute in Demon Slayer, they got angry over it because they were turned into a demon at the age of 10. So they obviously looked like they were 10, but they were a demon and had been for 100 years.
Oh, this is a pretty typical thing for Japan, where they're like, yes, officer, I know that she looks like she's 12, but she's actually a 300-year-old immortal.
Yeah, that's also that's also the case for when they have child vampires. And the reason why I hate child vampires as a trope.
Also, like, what was it, Breath of the Wild, where, like, yeah, Link's canonically 17, but he was suspended for 100 years while his wounds healed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm also pissed off at the opposite of that, which Scylla will know very well, which is Renesmee from Twilight.
What?
Yes.
Where it's like, so Renesmee is the child of Edward and Bella, who is like a half-vampire CGI freak seed.
And Edward imprints on her, which is...
Jacob imprints on her.
My bad, I got them switched, yeah.
But they're like, oh, it's fine, because in like 5 years from now, she'll age really quickly, and therefore she'll look like she's 18.
Ew.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Correct.
Even more reason to hate Twilight.
You shut the fuck up.
The series.
I'm sorry.
No,
but
it's bad.
You have a fucking, like, 18-year-old imprinting on a baby. On a newborn
Well,
baby.
yeah, I agree it's very wrong, but I still love Twilight. Leave it alone.
Why? Twilight is
multiple abusive relationships in one book series?
Yeah, and it's the entire series. It's Edward gaslighting Bella. The entire series.
Let's also not forget the really large amount of homoerotic undertones that made, like, the most popular ship in the fandom being Jacob and Edward.
Oh my god.
Also, the sparkly vampires can go and suck it.
I think that's what Jacob did.
I think Raven is just bitching because he likes the Vampire Diaries a hell of a lot better.
Yes, because the vampires in that are actually treated like threats and not sparkly Nancy boys like they are in Twilight.
So
okay, I'm going to hop into your server, Scylla, and I'm going to...
Thank you all for joining us. I don't know what Discord we ended on, but it clearly was not on this earth.
So, Raven, I'm going to say is that I love the lore of vampirism and all around.
Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate Poppy and stick around always means so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe. I'm looking at maybe making this a bi-weekly thing. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But for now, I hope you all have a go out there. Stay safe and see you next time. Bye.